Chapter 4103. Oh, I went out to do something for my grandfather. It's related to the military, so I can't tell you. Suyu made up an excuse, and the others believed him. After all, they knew who Suyu's grandfather was. At this moment, they had poured wine for themselves. Han Yueyao even filled Suyu's glass. President Su, I'd like to propose a toast to you first. Thank you for giving me such a precious opportunity and letting so many fans know me. Okay, I'll accept it. Suyu clinked glasses with Han Yueyao, and they drank the wine in one gulp. The others applauded and cheered. Before the dishes were served, they began to serve the wine. Seeing the good atmosphere, Suyu clarified one thing. You've all done a lot for the competition. Although Han Yueyao's dancing is hard, you've worked even harder. As for not being the champion, I expected it. The organizer told me that if I wanted to be the champion, I'd have to cooperate with them in a movie, shoot 3 reality variety shows for them, and sponsor them 20 million yuan. Suyu, have plenty of money. Not to mention 20 million yuan, I can easily take out 200 million yuan to promote a newcomer. I didn't agree because the movie produced by their TV station has always had a bad reputation. Most of the reality shows are about love and marriage. Han Yueyao is a new girl in the entertainment circle, and I don't want to be tricked as soon as she enters the industry. So, I refused without hesitation. So, we have nothing to say about the champion. Although you've won second place today, in my heart, you're already the champion. Come, let me propose a toast to you. Han Yueyao had never known Suyu was so eloquent, especially in such an informal setting. He spoke so fluently without any hesitation. His emotions were on point. Perhaps it was because his aura was so strong that Suyu spoke casually. Everyone was still extremely excited and applauded thunderously. Thank you, President Su. We love you. President Su, you're mighty and domineering. You're our eternal boss. Some employees began to flatter their boss passionately. Han Yueyao, on the other hand, heard a key sentence. It was because Suyu didn't want her to go on a reality show like a blind date, because she was a newbie and innocent girl. She had long heard from people in the industry that many female celebrities had fallen in love with those matchmaking reality shows. In the end, after the show ended, the female star fell in love, but the male star simply left. Or rather, he used the show to cheat his way out. He didn't take responsibility and turned around to pull up his pants and deny it. In short, it was very heartless. So you did not use her as a tool for the company to make money. Therefore, the organizers did not reach an agreement, and the champion was someone else. She was touched by Suyu's thoughtfulness and felt proud of him for acting like a big boss today. While Suyu drank, she stole glances at him. The more she thought about it, the more she felt the butterflies in her stomach. Previously, she had boasted that if Suyu returned safely, she would shamelessly confess to him. Now that Suyu was back, was she really going to confess? Han Yueyao blushed at the thought. Wow, Miss Han, your face is so red. Are you allergic to alcohol? I was an insensitive person. He thought Han Yueyao was allergic to alcohol. No, I'm like this when I drink. My mom said that people who blush when they drink are easy to befriend. They're honest and worth being friends with. Ha! Han Yueyao laughed. What do you mean by honest? Why don't you just say that someone like you won't last more than 2 episodes in Jinhuan? Suyu began to mock her. Of course, he was joking. Chapter 4104. President Su, you overestimate me. How can I last 2 episodes? I'll kick the bucket in half an episode at most. Han Yueyao's cheerful and generous attitude made everyone like her. She was probably the second female star in Imperial Star Entertainment who was popular after Nie Lingxian. Of course, Han Yueyao's status was not as high as Nie Lingxuan's. After all, she was a newcomer. But since President Su supported her so much, it was obvious that she would do well in the future. Everyone was happy and the atmosphere was very good. After the meal, someone seemed to want more and suggested singing. Han Yueyao immediately glanced at Suyu. How about this? You guys can go and have fun. I'll pay the bill. What about you, President Su? Someone asked. I'm going to have supper with a few friends. There's still the second half of the game, so I won't go. Han Yueyao, you're the hero. You can go with him and get the reimbursement from the finance department tomorrow. President Sue, you're not going? Han Yueyao was a bit disappointed. After all, she wanted to confess to him because she was drunk. I'm not going. I'm going with Tang Chuan and Mr. Wei. Oh, okay, you guys go. Have fun. Then Suyu glanced at him, go get my wallet and pay the bill. Then drive the car to the door. Okay, President Sue. Then Suyu stood up, picked up his coat, and was about to walk downstairs. President Sue, let me walk you out. Before Suyu could say anything, Han Yueyao had followed him out. They walked downstairs from the private room upstairs and went to the bar to pay the bill while Suyu lit a cigarette in the air vent on the second floor. President Sue, are you in a bad mood? No, don't talk nonsense. Isn't today a celebration for you? I'm in a good mood. Then why do I feel that you have something on your mind today? You're Sherlock Holmes. Please, don't make wild guesses. The game is over. You should have a good rest. I'll give you 3 days off. After all, you've been tired for so long. I'm fine. Don't worry. Don't. It'll be bad if the media takes photos of us exploiting our artists. As for your contract, I'll talk to the other executives and draft one. We'll sign it soon. After that, you'll officially debut as an artist of Imperial Star. Han Yueyao, this is what you wanted, right? You won't regret it, right? She knew what Suyu meant. She nodded. That's right. That's what I want. I've said it before. I don't need to be famous, but I need to earn more money. I've set a goal for myself now. I want to work hard to buy a better house for my parents in Jingdu within 2 years. The one at home is already so dilapidated. I don't want them to stay in such a dirty place in their old age. With your current level of popularity, you don't even need 2 years. Maybe half a year is enough. Suyu laughed. Thank you, President Sue, for giving me this chance. I'm really, really grateful. Okay. If you're grateful, make money for the company as a reward. If you become famous one day, you can jump ship at a high price like those ungrateful people. But I don't think you have the guts to do that. After all, the penalty for breaking the contract is very expensive, Suyu said jokingly as he blew out a smoke ring. I won't. I'll never betray you. There was nothing wrong with this statement, since it was an employee's way of showing their loyalty to their boss. But when she said it, Suyu felt it was a bit strange. So he didn't answer, and didn't say a word. She lowered her head and said, President Sue, in fact, I've been wanting to tell you something. I've decided to tell you when you come back safely. Chapter 4105. Suyu wasn't an idiot. He seemed to know what Han Yueyao was going to say. Just when Han Yueyao was so nervous that her heart was about to jump out of her chest, suddenly, he said something that didn't suit the occasion. Did you have a good meal today? Huh? Han Yueyao was dumbfounded. This was simply a group of donkeys that did not fit the horse's mouth. There were too many people today, so I probably didn't have a good meal. If there's a chance, I'll treat you to a meal alone. You did well today. You're very outstanding. President Sue, that's not what I wanted to say. In fact, I wanted to say, I'm afraid Mr. Tang and the others are anxious. I'm leaving now. Take your colleagues out to play and go home early. Suyu patted Han Yueyao's shoulder. Just like that, he blocked Han Yueyao's unspoken words with ease. After Suyu left, she stood there in a daze. Did he mean that he was tactfully rejected? No, she hadn't said anything yet. President Sue shouldn't know. Han Yueyao was extremely conflicted. She didn't know what Suyu meant by this. Did he refuse her confession because he didn't want her to confess to him? Or did Suyu not know what she was going to say? Did he really have something to do and leave in a hurry? Anyway, she didn't confess her love to him. At a loss, Han Yueyao stood in the corridor on the second floor. She was called up by her colleagues and had to go karaoke with them. She didn't want to spoil everyone's fun. After Suyu got into the car, he and him went directly to Tang Chuan's private club. When they arrived, Tang Chuan and Wei Liao had already arrived. Seeing that they didn't call him, Suyu didn't ask. He walked in and said to the waiter, "Give me some more whiskey." "What do you mean? Lord Su, do you want to get drunk?" Tang Chuan looked at Suyu. It had been a long time since he took the initiative to get drunk. "That's right. Didn't the two of you come here today to risk your lives to accompany this gentleman?" Suyu asked. "Sure. Just tell me how you want to drink. Even if you want to vomit blood, I'll accompany you to the end. Tang Chuan smiled and poured Suyu a glass of wine. Before Suyu could sit down, he picked up the wine and downed it in one gulp. What's the situation? Didn't you just come back from that place? Didn't you drink well? Wei Liao was a little puzzled. President Su drank a lot over there too. He drank 6 bottles of beer and added, "That's quite a lot. Lord Su, you've survived a great calamity. I'm so happy." Tang Chuan did not think too much about it. He only thought that Suyu was in a good mood and was excited. However, when Wei Liao carefully looked at Suyu's micro-expressions and eyes, he felt that this matter wasn't as simple as it seemed. Cut the crap. Are you drinking or not? Yes, I must drink. Tang Chuan rolled up his sleeves and prepared to drink. Wei Liao did not touch the wine glass. Instead, he stared at Suyu. Lord Tang, are there any girls in your club? Suyu asked. Tang Chuan suspected that he had misheard. Did these words really come out of Suyu's mouth? I heard that there are many Ukrainian beauties in your club. Is that right? Are you going to report me? Tang Chuan asked jokingly. Can you call a few in to liven things up? Suyu asked directly, ignoring Tang Chuan and Wei Liao's strange looks. Tang Chuan and Wei Liao looked at each other, meaning that Suyu's mood was definitely not normal today. Lord Su, haven't you been abstinent for a few years? Are you going to have sex tonight? Tang Chuan asked carefully. Ahem, and was so scared that he coughed violently behind him, and had always thought that his boss was joking, but looking at his expression, it didn't seem like a joke. Therefore, Suyu's request scared the 3 men in the room. Chapter 4106. Cut the crap. It's not easy to come to your place. Are you willing to give it up? Suyu glared at Tang Chuan. Of course, but I'll give it all to you. Wei Liao and I are both married, so we won't get involved. Ever since Tang Chuan got together with Qin Ning, he was known to be henpecked. He used to make fun of Wei Liao for being afraid of Dr. Jiang. Later, when it was his turn, he was even worse. Seeing Qin Ning was worse than a mouse seeing a cat. Therefore, Tang Chuan didn't go looking for girls in a private club. In the past, even if they went looking for girls, Suyu wouldn't do it. Ever since he fell in love with Huamin, he hadn't slept with anyone for many years. Even Zheng Ro was chased out by Suyu when she took off her clothes and crawled into bed. There were also some shameless female celebrities who tried to seduce him, but none of them succeeded. It could only be said that Suyu's conviction was too strong. He liked Huamin too deeply. Even if it was one-sided, it was enough to make him willingly keep his virginity. Now, Suyu took the initiative to ask for girls. This surprised Wei Liao and Tang Chuan. However, in order not to spoil Suyu's mood, Tang Chuan decided to agree to his request. Tang Chuan clapped his hands, and the club manager immediately came in. He served these masters at their beck and call. President Tang, what can I do for you? Bring the prettiest girls in our club here for Lord Su to choose. Okay. I'll do it right away. The manager nodded quickly. 10 minutes later, the manager brought in 10 beautiful women. All of them had hot bodies and were more than 7 meters tall. They were comparable to the supermodels in the Victoria's Secret fashion show, and they were all top-notch. 3 of them were foreign beauties. They were the Ukrainian beauties mentioned before. Those who frequented nightclubs knew that these were the best of the best. Lord Su, take a look and see if there's anyone you like. If not, I'll go and find another batch. The manager carefully stood in front of Suyu. Suyu didn't even look up. He just randomly pointed at 2 people. Just the 2 of them. Did you hear that? It's just the 2 of you. Serve Lord Su well. The manager turned around and said to the 2 women. The 2 beauties were obviously flattered. They quickly trotted over and sat on either side of Suyu. They didn't dare to get too close. After all, they had heard that Lord Su had a bad temper. Of the 2 women, one took the initiative to pour a glass of wine for Suyu, while the other took the initiative to stick a piece of fruit into her mouth. Suyu opened his mouth and took a bite. These silent actions shocked Tang Chuan and Wei Liao. Shaolin's jaw was about to drop. Master Wei, what's going on? Lord Su came back this time. Something's wrong. Is it because of a ghost? Tang Chuan whispered in Wei Liao's ear. I don't think it's simple either. But it's impossible that it's because of a ghost. Don't talk nonsense. I think Lord Su has something on his mind. Wei Liao was older and could see through people's hearts. This time, Su came back. On the surface, he seemed to be fine, just like before. However, there seemed to be something pressing down on his heart. However, Tang Chuan and Wei Liao didn't take the initiative to ask. Instead, they accompanied Su Yu to drink. The men played until late into the night. Before leaving, Su Yu even took one of the women to the Bentley and returned to his residence. Wei Liao looked at the leaving Bentley and frowned. When I have the chance, I should talk to Huamin and find out what happened in Yunnan to make her so agitated. Su Yu brought the beauty back to the villa. He didn't bring her back to his room, nor did he do anything else. He just took out a stack of cash and placed it on the table. It was probably more than 100,000 yuan. Then, Su Yu looked at the woman and said, "I'll arrange for a car to pick you up in 2 hours." "Mr. Su, what do I need to do now?" The woman stood up and looked at Su Yu with an ambiguous smile. Chapter 4107. You can choose to watch TV or eat supper. Then, Su Yu turned around and went upstairs coldly. The beauty was left standing in the living room, dumbfounded. What was going on? She was brought home by a super rich man in the middle of the night, and thought she had a chance to soar? But, miss, don't talk nonsense after taking the money. Our boss has a bad temper, and understood what President Su was thinking. He didn't want anything to happen. Perhaps he just wanted to numb himself temporarily. The woman had been in the nightclub for a long time, so she immediately understood what was going on. She hurriedly picked up the money and put it into her extravagant Chanel bag. Then, she interjected, "I know, little brother. President Su quarreled with his girlfriend and purposely made his girlfriend jealous. Actually, he didn't really want to betray her. I know these tricks. But then again, which girl is so lucky to have a boyfriend like President Su? If I did, I wouldn't be willing to quarrel with my boyfriend. I would coax him every day." "You talk too much. You'd better be quiet for 2 hours and leave later." And couldn't be bothered to talk to him anymore. Then, I went to the kitchen to boil water, intending to make a cup of tea for Su Yu to sober up. 2 hours later, the woman was picked up by a prearranged car. Of course, those who didn't know better would definitely think that this woman and Su Yu had a one-night stand. After all, she went home with Su Yu at 1 o'clock in the morning and left at 3 o'clock. No one was stupid enough to know what happened in the middle of the night. Perhaps this was the result that Su Yu wanted. After sending the woman away, I went upstairs to check on Su Yu. However, he found that Su Yu's bedroom door was open. He was sitting on the carpet by the bed with a half-drunk bottle of whiskey in his hand. "Boss, you drank too much today. You can't drink anymore. Whiskey is too strong. It's easy to hurt your stomach." And saw with his own eyes how much Su Yu, Wei Liao, and Tang Chuan drank today. He thought that he would sleep peacefully after returning home. Unexpectedly, he seemed to be unhappy and was drinking alone. "Shaoan, I feel terrible." This was the truest sentence Su Yu had said since he came back. Yes, he felt terrible, but he didn't dare to tell his mother, nor did he dare to tell his brothers. Everyone was very concerned about him, and he didn't want them to worry. Perhaps she had been in love with Huamin for so long that she was the kind of person who would always think for others. Su Yu had been holding it in until now. "Boss, if there's anything you're unhappy about, you can tell Xiao." And Xiaoan walked over and snatched the bottle from Su Yu's hand when he wasn't paying attention. Then she sat down beside him. "In order to save me, Mian lost a child that was about to be born. I'm not a fucking human." Su Yu said this with tears in his eyes, and seemed to have guessed that only something related to Huamin could make his boss lose control like this. "Boss, Dr. Huo won't regret it. When she went to save you, she knew that everything would be bad. Now that you're both back safely, it's actually a good situation. Dr. Hua is still young and already has 2 daughters. Although the children are important, in her heart, she doesn't want you to die." And wasn't educated and didn't know how to read minds. He could only choose what he understood to persuade Su Yu. It's different. Mian was pregnant with this child for 9 months. It was so hard. She wanted the baby to be born so much that she even named it. That big explosion. She kept bleeding. She just watched the baby leave, and I was like a cripple who couldn't do anything. Thinking of the explosion, Su Yu lowered his head and covered his face to cry. This incident was already a trauma in Su Yu's heart. Huomin's child had also become a scar in his heart. Chapter 4108. Boss, you're not disabled. Those bad guys are too evil. We're already very happy that you and Dr. Hua survived this disaster and came back safely. After all, even someone as powerful as Queen Lu Yin doesn't know what's going on. At the mention of Lu Yin, and was a little sad. He had always believed that Lu Yin was the strongest on the surface, so she would be fine. But after hearing what the boss said, he began to worry about how badly Lu Yin was injured. Where is she? Logically speaking, Lu Yin loved her sister very much. When Dr. Hua came back, she would come a visit. Could it be that she was ambushed by her enemies after she was injured? After all, Lu Yin had too many enemies and didn't dare to think too much. The more he thought about it, the more panicked he became. Su Yu, on the other hand, was already unconscious as he cried. After all, he drank so much wine. He vomited all over the floor and finally helped the boss change his clothes and put him to bed before returning to the bed. However, he knew that this matter was a thorn in the boss's heart that he wouldn't be able to get over in a short time. When he lay in bed, it was already 4:30 a.m., and the sky was almost bright. Then, he received a call from Han Yueyao. Miss Han, are you with President Su? Yeah, we're together. Where are you? At home. Oh, I sent President Su a WeChat message, but he didn't reply or pick up my calls. I thought something happened and was a little worried. Oh, it's fine. Don't worry. We came back a long time ago. You guys are done, right? Yeah, we're done. Everyone is very happy. I went back to the dorm too. That's good. Then rest early. Remember to ask the boss for reimbursement tomorrow. Is there something on President Su's mind? Han Yueyao vaguely felt that something was wrong with President Su today. Or rather, something was wrong with him this time. Miss Han, how should I tell you? President Su is indeed in a bad mood. I don't know if you've seen Dr. Hua yet. Sister Mion? I haven't. I heard that she's recuperating. I plan to visit her in a few days. Did you know that Dr. Hua's child is gone? And knew that this matter could not be concealed. Huomin was about to give birth. Now that the child was gone, her stomach was flat. The whole world would know, so it was better to make it clear as soon as possible. What? Han Yueyao was obviously shocked, and briefly told her what had happened. Hearing his words, she fell silent. You should know how much our boss has liked Dr. Hua over the past few years. Now that Dr. Hua is pregnant and trying to save him, and even sacrificing her own child, how could he possibly feel good about this? No wonder Su Yu is so weird. It turns out that he's bearing so much pressure all by himself. On the one hand, she was worried about Huomin's miscarriage. On the other hand, she was worried about Su Yu's mental pressure. Give the boss some time. This matter needs time to heal slowly. After all, Dr. Hua is too important to her. I understand, and I'll comfort President Su. We can't not understand him at this time. He's suffering more than anyone else. Yes, President Su usually looks violent, but he's actually like a child inside. When he's sad, he can't say it out loud. Tonight, he vomited. I haven't seen him like this in a long time. Thank you for telling me this, and I know you like the boss. Shaoan was straightforward enough. Seeing this, Han Yueyao didn't hide it anymore. She thought for a moment and said to him, I love Su Yu very much. He's been protecting Sister Mion, but I only want to protect him. Chapter 4109. I hope you could be the one to save the boss. If you need my help, I'll help you. And also expressed his support for Han Yueyao's crush on Su Yu. Thank you and don't thank me. It's too distant. Then don't call me Miss Han. Just call me Big Yao Yao. Okay. After the phone call, they fell asleep. At 5 a.m., South Hill Manor was deathly silent. In the winter in the north, the days were especially short and the nights were especially long. Most of the time, the sun didn't rise until 7 a.m. So many companies would arrange the morning shift to 8:30 or 9 a.m. At 5 a.m., the sky was still dark and the entire castle was quiet. Huomin got up in her white nightgown. She walked barefoot on the luxurious floor, making no sound as if a feather fell on the floor. She walked slowly as if she was sizing up the structure of the house. When she passed by the study, she saw Qin Chu asleep on the table. When she saw Qin Chu, her eyes were different. There seemed to be a hidden light in them. She was about to push open the door when she heard a voice behind her. "Mommy." Startled, Huamin turned her head with a cold expression. 3 seconds later, she smiled. "Pudding, why are you up?" "I'm thirsty. There's no water in the room. I want to drink water. I'm a little scared." "Mommy, can you accompany me downstairs?" "Sure. Let's go. Mommy will take you." With that, Huamin walked downstairs. Pudding reached out to hold her hand. But when she touched her fingertips, she felt a bone-chilling coldness, making her shiver unconsciously. She immediately let go of her. Then, she took 2 steps back, looking a little scared. "What's wrong, Pudding?" "Mommy, your hand is frighteningly cold. I'm still sick because I lost the baby. I'll be fine after a while. Don't worry about me, okay?" Huamin's tone was already very gentle, but for some reason, Pudding felt that Huamin wasn't very friendly at all. She quietly followed Huamin to the pantry. The floor of the pantry was warm because it was geothermal. She turned on a small, dim light. Then, he poured water for Pudding. Just then, a black cat appeared out of nowhere. She pounced on Huamin, causing her to knock over the glass of water. In the past, Huamin's subconscious reaction would have been to scream in fear, but she didn't. Pudding clearly saw her react very quickly. She grabbed the black cat off her body and kicked it away. The black cat was kicked until it cried out in pain and fell to the ground. It seemed to have suffered a serious injury. Pudding was so scared that she retreated to the door. "Pudding, don't be scared. Mommy has subdued the cat." Huamin looked at Pudding and smiled. But in the night, her smile seemed creepy. "Mommy, why? You used to like Blackie a lot?" Huamin's expression changed slightly when she heard that. The black cat was originally a stray. Later on, it kept sneaking into South Hill Manor to steal food. When it was caught by the gardener, Huamin told him not to hit it because it was pitiful. She even gave it a name, Little Black, and then raised it. Blackie went somewhere to play and came back every night to look for food. After eating, it would sleep in the pantry because it was warm and there was cat food. It had always been close to Huamin and had never hurt anyone in the family. Sometimes, Pudding would give it cake. Pudding didn't know why it was so mean. Most importantly, Huamin's reaction was very violent. That kick almost paralyzed the cat. Pudding was so scary. What's wrong? What happened? Qin Chu had come downstairs at some point, and his tall figure was standing at the door. Chapter 41:10. "Honey, just now Little Black. I don't know what happened. It suddenly jumped up and wanted to hurt me. I kicked it out of reflex, and it seems to be injured. I swear I didn't do it on purpose. Little Black never did this to me before. Is it because it blames me for not being able to protect our child?" Huamin's eyes were filled with tears as he spoke. Pudding looked at her mommy in confusion. She clearly didn't look like this just now. When she kicked Little Black, her eyes were especially vicious. Did she see wrongly? Why did she look different when she saw her daddy? "Don't talk nonsense. It won't happen." Qin Chu quickly took off his jacket and put it on Huamin. Then, he glanced at Little Black on the ground. "I'll get someone to deal with it later. Maybe it smelled the blood on you." Everyone knew that after induced labor, it was like giving birth to a child. Just like during menstruation, the woman would bleed continuously. Therefore, Qin Chu's explanation was believable. However, "Pudding, why aren't you asleep yet?" "I'm thirsty, Daddy. By the way, I'll get some water for my daughter." Huamin was very diligent. He took out a new cup and poured some water for Pudding. Then, he handed it to her. "Mommy, sweetheart, were you scared just now? It's all Mommy's fault. It's not Mommy's fault. I think Mommy accidentally stepped on Little Black's tail, so Little Black hurt you. But, Daddy, can you not kill Little Black? It likes Mommy so much, it definitely didn't do it on purpose." Pudding was afraid that her daddy would do something to the black cat to avenge her mommy. "I won't kill it, but I won't let it stay in our house anymore. I'll send it away." Qin Chu picked up Pudding and sent her back to her room. Then, he returned to the master bedroom with Huamin. "Honey, lie on the bed. Hold me." Huamin's innocent eyes made her heart ache. Qin Chu looked at his watch. "Sorry, Mian, it's getting late. I have to continue organizing the company's documents." I have to use them in the morning meeting. You can go back to sleep. Huamin immediately turned his head with a look of displeasure. Qin Chu covered her cup and went back to the study. In the twins' room, Little Bean, wake up. After pudding, she couldn't sleep. Instead, she lightly to touch her sister. Mommy, don't disturb me. I'm so sleepy. Little Bean, I have something important to talk to you about. I did a little to sleep. STS know who to say to she actually wanted to tell Daddy, but Daddy loved Mommy so much. What if he found out that he suspected Mommy? Steed have, thus, Pudding struggled with her inner thoughts for more than an hour before she finally fell asleep. In TT during breakfast, the whole family took good care of Huamin's feelings. Mian, you're not feeling well. Eat more, but make sure it's light and nourishing. Qin Chu's mother made her red date and white fungus porridge. Thank you, Mom. This child, why are you being so polite with me? Honey, are you going to the company later? MHM. Qin Chu nodded. Can I go back to Mom's? I miss her so much, Huamin said. Sure, I'll ask the driver and bodyguards to take you there. Daddy, are we still going to school today? Can we go to Grandma's house with Mommy? Little Bean asked in a flattering tone. No, the teacher said we have a national studies class today. We have to go. Pudding rejected her sister's suggestion. You two should go to school. I'll give you a surprise after school. Really? What surprise? Little Bean's eyes lit up. Chapter 4111. Are you an idiot? If Daddy told you, it wouldn't be a surprise. Pudding glanced at her little sister indifferently. Little Bean, you too, eat your food and don't bicker. Be good at school. Huamin nagged as he looked at the two children lovingly. At this moment, Qin Chu's mother said, Mian, you're still young. Have a few more children in the future. I'll take care of them for you while I'm still healthy. Why are you saying this? Qin Chu's father didn't think it was appropriate to say these words now. To his surprise, Huamin didn't mind. Instead, he was happy. That's what I was thinking too, hubby. When I'm better and I'm done with my confinement, can we have another one? Huamin looked at Qin Chu expectantly. Okay, as long as you're happy. Qin Chu's reaction wasn't as happy as expected, but he still listened to Huamin. After breakfast, Qin Chu drove to work and drove the two children to school. Huamin, the bodyguard, and the driver went to Sky Blessing Court. Jixin and Bella didn't know Huamin was coming, so they went to work early. Only two people were at Sky Blessing Court. One was Yang Meirong, and the other was Jingda. When Huamin walked in, Yang Meirong was very happy because she didn't know what happened a few days ago. But when she saw Huamin's flat belly, she was surprised. Mian, where's your child? Mom, my child is gone. What do you mean? She gave birth? How come I didn't know? No one told me? Yang Meirong thought Huamin gave birth to the child by C-section early. Mom, the child has been induced. Induced? Yang Meirong felt dizzy and fell on the sofa. Huamin didn't reach out to help her. Jingda was obviously afraid of Huamin, so he didn't dare to get close. He just stood in the corner, far away. Mian, don't joke with me. I have a weak heart and high blood pressure. Mom, I'm not joking. That's what happened. Suyu was kidnapped, and I went to save him. In the end, the kidnappers detonated the explosives. It's already very good that Suyu and I came back alive, but during the process, the child was injured by the explosion and became a stillborn, so we had to undergo induced labor. Mom, my heart hurts too, but this is the truth. Huamin told her everything in one breath. Yang Meirong couldn't take it anymore and kept clutching her chest. He panted heavily. Then she fainted. Xiao Rong. Jingda was worried that Yang Meirong had fainted and wanted to go to her. However, he was stopped by Huamin. Enough. She's unconscious and doesn't know anything. There's only the two of us here. Don't pretend. Jingda immediately got down on one knee. Young master, you've been living a good life here. How come you fell in love with this old woman? Sitting on the edge of the sofa, Huamin glanced at the unconscious Yang Meirong with disdain in his eyes. No, I don't dare. Jingda trembled in fear. It's okay to fall in love with her. After all, this old woman is quite pretty, but she's really something since Huamin called her mom for so many years. But this woman looks so stupid. I don't want to waste my time talking to her. You're right, young master. 002, how's your life here? Has anyone seen through you? Huamin lowered his head and played with his fingernails, asking casually. No one has seen through me yet, but Jingda seemed to think of something. Don't stutter when you talk to me. Huamin's eyes flashed with a cold light, making Jingda tremble in fear. Chapter 41:12. Yes, young master, it's like this. There's a member in this family. Oh, she's Jing Zhixin's new wife, Jingda's daughter-in-law. She seems to be suspicious of me and has been spying on me. One day, she found me eating, but I'm not sure how much she saw. I don't think she told anyone about it. Huamian didn't say anything. Young master, I'm sorry. It's my fault. As soon as Jingda finished speaking, he felt a heavy punch to his chest. He felt as if his bones were about to shatter. Huamin rubbed his fists. If you continue to be such a piece of trash, I think you can meet the Real Jingda. Young master, please don't. I won't let you down. Enduring the pain, Jingda wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and knelt on the ground, begging for mercy. You didn't ask for anything in the first place. The master sent you here to do an experiment and see how long you can live as Jingda. I told the master that you'd be fine for at least a year, but it's only been 2 months, and you've already caused trouble for me. Do you think you're slapping me in the face? I wouldn't dare. Piece of trash. Huamin glared at Jingda, his eyes full of disgust. Young master, please spare me. Are you hungry? I'll go prepare some food. Do you have food here? When it came to food, Huamin seemed more interested. She licked her lips. Ever since she came back, she hadn't eaten much. She even forced herself to eat food she didn't like with those idiots at South Hill Manor. It was like chewing wax, making it hard for her to swallow. Now that Jingda said there was food here, Huamin felt much better. Yes. I'll go prepare it now. Jingda immediately got up and ran to the fridge. Then, he took out a bag of blood from the bottom of the fridge. Then, he carefully poured the blood into his master's cup. He had carefully found these and stored them, afraid that the Jing family would find them. He put these things at the bottom of the fridge and covered it with many fridges. Fortunately, no one found them. Huamin took the cup of cold red liquid. He only took a small sip. Then he smashed the cup, grabbed Jingda's neck with one hand, and lifted him into the air. From this, it could be seen how astonishing her arm's strength and instantaneous explosive power were. Young master, spare me, you trash. What the hell did you make me drink? She found the taste disgusting the moment she drank it. She felt as if someone had suddenly given her a glass of alcohol mixed with water after she was used to drinking fine whiskey. Young master, it's really blood. I wouldn't dare lie to you. Jingda felt like he was about to suffocate, but he still tried to explain. What blood? Huamin stared at Jingda coldly. His eyes were slightly glowing with a green light, which made him look like a terrifying beast. It's from a Samoyed. As soon as he finished speaking, Huamin threw him to the ground. Jingda didn't dare to delay. He struggled to get up from the ground and knelt down again. No wonder it tastes so bad. 002, you're getting better and better. Are you so desperate that you have to drink dog's blood to survive? Young master, this city is very safe with many policemen. I don't dare. I'm afraid that my identity will be exposed. I have no choice. I'll give you 20 minutes. I want fresh human blood. Right now. Right now, or I'll crush your head. She didn't listen to Jingda's explanation and made harsh demands. Chapter 41:13. An hour later, Huamin walked out of Sky Blessing Court and got into the black Rolls-Royce. After getting into the car, she wiped the corners of her mouth with satisfaction. A young lady. Where are we going now? Southside Recuperation Center. Okay, sit tight. Huamin smiled and looked at the scenery outside the window, thinking, Huamin, everything you have belongs to me. Everything. At Sky Blessing Court, when Yang Meirong woke up, she saw Jingda beside her. Where's Mian? Mian left. She asked me to take good care of you. Why is my daughter's life so miserable? Ada, why did our grandson die all of a sudden? Yang Meiyerong was still sad when she thought of this and couldn't stop crying. There's nothing we can do about it. Mian didn't want you to be too sad and didn't dare to stay for long. You have to think about the child. She must be sad to lose the child. Let's not rub salt in her wound, right? But I still can't accept it. It's too sudden. My grandson, don't cry. I'm upset. Jingda suddenly roared. Duh. Yang Meiyerong was surprised. Jingda had been good to her all these years. Even if she was unreasonable, Jingda would let her have her way. He treated Huamin like his own son. Why was he acting like this? His face was cold, as if she didn't recognize him anymore. Everyone is sad about this, but I'm upset when you keep crying. When Jixin and Bella come home, are we going to hug each other and cry? Yang Meiyerong felt that there was nothing wrong with what her husband said, but his attitude was a little unexpected. At this moment, someone rang the doorbell. Yang Meiyerong wiped her tears and quickly got up to open the door. Sister Yang, excuse me. Did you notice our Luo Luo playing around here? Luo Luo? I didn't see him. Yang Meiyerong remembered that Luo Luo was a little boy from the neighbor's house. He was only 7 years old and was very naughty. But he was well-educated and called her Grandma Yang every time they met. Jixin often brought him to play soccer in the neighborhood. I don't know where the kid went. He said he was playing with his soccer ball, but I couldn't find him anywhere. Did he go home? Yang Meiyerong asked. That's impossible. There are people at home. If he goes back, he will call me. What should I do? His parents are traveling in Europe and will be back soon. There's only me and his grandfather at home. What if something happens? That won't happen. Sister, don't worry. Keep looking. Our neighborhood is the safest. We won't go missing. Besides, the neighbors all know Luo Luo. Okay, then I'll go out and look for him. If you see him, please help send him back to our house. Thank you. Yes, definitely. Yang Meiyerong closed the door. When she turned around, Jingda had gone upstairs and was no longer in the living room. It wasn't a big deal if the child couldn't be found, but if the child was missing, it would be a big problem. Yang Meiyerong suddenly felt that the neighborhood wasn't safe recently. First, cats and dogs went missing. Later, they were tortured and killed, which made people panic. Many dog lovers did not dare to walk their dogs. In the Imperial Star Entertainment Company, Su Yu and got up at noon and drove to the company. The moment they got out of the car, they were surrounded by many reporters. President Su, I heard you have a new girlfriend? President Su, can you tell us about the beauty who secretly went home with you last night? President Su, have you broken up with your female artist, Han Yueyao? Will she still sign with Imperial Star? Chapter 41:14. President Su, can you tell us if the wedding date is near? President Su, is the mysterious girl a socialite or an artist under the company? Can you tell us? Rumor has it that the woman is Miss Han Yueyao, the rising star of Imperial Star. She's the runner-up of Dance Allure. What do you think, President Su? I heard that Miss Han Yueyao is from Jing City. Is she the descendant of General Han? The more they asked, the more ridiculous their questions became. Su Yu's face darkened. He deliberately looked for a girl last night and flirted with her. Indeed, he didn't avoid the paparazzi. But why did they think of Han Yueyao? Why did she have to be the scapegoat? Seeing this, Su Yu only explained, it's not Han Yueyao. I don't like to date female artists under the company. Thank you for your concern. Su Yu threw out an extremely cold sentence and walked straight into the company. Those people were like flies. They wanted to surround him and ask what he wanted to say, but then quickly blocked them outside the door. I'm sorry, everyone. This is President Su's private matter. Please give President Su some privacy and pay more attention to our artists and works. Thank you. I had been with Su Yu for many years, so he thought it was quite easy for him to say a few words. After Su Yu returned to his office, he began to busy himself with the day's work. The peace of the morning was disrupted by Gao Yeruo. Gao Yeruo was dressed very beautifully. She was wearing a floral dress from a famous brand. She had on extremely exquisite makeup. She didn't know if it was intentional or not, but her makeup and outfit were obviously imitating Ye Lingxian. Perhaps Gao Yeruo thought that Su Yu had always had feelings for Ye Lingxian. So she played a little trick. When she came over, unblocked her outside the door. I want to see President Su, she said arrogantly, looking down on and, do you have an appointment? And asked, no, then please go back. President Su is not free. I have something important to talk to President Su about. I won't take up too much of his time. He's not free either. Why don't you ask your agent to make an appointment for you? You're just a lousy bodyguard. What's so special about you? Where's your sense of superiority coming from? You're just President Su's dog. After being stopped by an, Gao Yeruo was furious. She scolded Xiao and angrily. Even if you want to be a dog, you have to be competent enough. Miss Gao, are you done scolding? If you're done, you can go back. Gao Yeruo had no choice but to turn around and walk away. Suddenly, she yelled without caring about her image. President Su, I have something important to talk to you about. Please see me. The whole floor heard Gao Yeruo's voice. This made Xiao and very unhappy. He didn't understand. What was wrong with women nowadays? Don't you want your face anymore? She was rejected, yet she still wanted to kick up a fuss like a shrew. As expected, Su Yu was alerted in the end. What's going on outside? He asked. President Su, Gao Yeruo wants to see you. Gao Yeruo? Su Yu froze. He seemed to have forgotten about this person. President Su, my cousin is Miss Nieling Xuan's agent. Gao Yeruo quickly revealed the relationship, trying to please him. Let her in. Su Yu's voice was very calm. See, President Su said to let me in. Why aren't you out of the way? A good dog doesn't block the way. Gao Yeruo glared at him proudly. Chapter 41:15, and didn't say anything. After working for President Su for so many years, he had seen many women like her. Gao Yeruo didn't know if she was doing it on purpose or not, but she twisted her butt and rubbed her ample bosom. Then, she walked in with her head held high like a proud peacock. But after she walked in, all her arrogance disappeared. President Su, she called out sweetly. Her voice was as fake as it could get. What's the matter? Tell me. I'll give you 3 minutes. Su Yu glanced at his watch and lowered his head to continue reading the financial report. President Su, I heard that our company accepted a reality show on a satellite TV. It's a cooking show. So you still didn't look up. My culinary skills are very good. I've been learning from my mother since I was a child, so I'm very talented at cooking. So I want to recommend myself to you and give it a try. I definitely won't embarrass you. Su Yu didn't say anything. No one knew what he was thinking. Seeing Su Yu's silence, she became bolder. She walked closer and said in a low voice, President Su, as long as you let me go on this show, I'm willing to do anything for you. Su Yu paused slightly. Then he put down the documents in his hand and looked up. He looked at the funny-looking woman in front of him. For example, Su Yu raised his eyebrows. I could do whatever Han Yueyao can do for you. I can do whatever Han Yueyao can't do for you. I'll serve you well, President Su. Gao Yeruo's voice was very low when she said the last sentence. It wasn't something a woman should say. It was too embarrassing. But Gao Yeruo didn't seem to notice. Instead, she thought she was very seductive. She thought Su Yu must be tempted by her. Ahem, you said you can cook, right? Yes, President Su. What kind of dishes can you cook? Our home-cooked dishes. I'm fine with anything. Gao Yeruo planned to act first and ask later. Once Su Yu agreed, she would spend money to hire a chef to teach her. So, when she bragged, she didn't feel guilty because she thought it was foolproof. However, all right then. First, tell me, what's the first step in making this dish? Su Yu looked at Gao Yeruo seriously. She had not expected this at all. Who knew that President Su was such a serious person and actually tested her face to face? Gao Yeruo's face looked pale, but she was still strong and calm. This dish is actually not difficult at all. It's a stir-fry, so the vegetables must be placed first. For this dish, the tofu must be placed first. Hee hee. Su Yu smiled mysteriously. Seeing Su Yu's reaction, Gao Yeruo immediately corrected herself. No, I made a mistake. I was too nervous. I'll say it again. President Su, in this dish minced pork and tofu. You put the meat first, then the tofu. Su Yu shook his head and only said one sentence. Didn't anyone tell you that you first add oil when cooking? Gao Yeruo was dumbfounded. I'll give you 10 seconds to get out of my sight. Otherwise, I'll never see you an Imperial Star again. Gao Yeruo immediately turned and ran when she heard the president's angry voice. She was afraid that Suyu would get agitated and fire her. Then, wouldn't she have fought for her position as the leader of the trainees for nothing? Coincidentally, when Gao Yeruo ran out, she bumped into Han Yueyao. Han Yueyao was here to ask for reimbursement from Suyu for last night's expenses. She went directly to the finance department, but the finance department said she needed President Su's signature. So, Han Yueyao came to the president's office with the reimbursement and unexpectedly bumped into Gao Yeruo. Han Yueyao, are you blind? Chapter 41:16. Han Yueyao rubbed her forehead, which hurt from the bump. She replied domineeringly, "We're both blind." Then, before Gao Yeruo could respond, she went into Suyu's office and saw it clearly from the side and almost laughed out loud. "Miss Gao, are you okay? Is the prosthesis in your nose crooked?" I wanted to add insult to injury. You have a prosthesis in your nose. Can you talk? Gao Yeruo covered her nose and left with a pale face. The girls in the secretarial office couldn't stop laughing. She had really embarrassed herself all the way to her grandmother's house when Han Yueyao came in, so you thought Gao Yeruo was still there. "Didn't I tell you to get out?" President Su, I didn't offend you." Hearing the voice, Suyu looked up and smiled when he saw it was Han Yueyao. "It's you." "Yeah, I'm here for reimbursement." "What? You don't want to admit it?" "Nonsense. Give it to me." Han Yueyao ran over and handed the reimbursement form to Suyu. Without even looking at it, Suyu waved the pen and signed the document. "You don't even look at it? Aren't you afraid I'll slander you? So be it. Someone got second place for me. It's okay to slander me," Suyu joked. "Whoa, do you mean you're not satisfied with me getting first place for you?" Han Yueyao joked with Suyu. "It's okay. Try harder next time. By the way, can you cook? Does scrambled eggs with tomatoes count?" Han Yueyao asked directly. Suyu, "Okay, you win." "It's true. I'm not joking. I really can cook scrambled eggs with tomatoes. Do you want me to cook one for you?" "Don't. I'm afraid I'll have diarrhea if I eat it." "Ha ha." Han Yueyao laughed, without caring about her image. She didn't have the burden of being an idol at all. "Han Yueyao, I think you're suitable to be a comedian. You're funny sometimes. Do you want me to change your character?" "Sure, but I can't do it myself." "President Su, if you can help me out, I'll do it. There are even comedians in crosstalk, right?" "Forget it. I can't outtalk you. Let's get down to business. Can you cook well?" "Yes. Yes, our company has accepted a new reality show. It's a gourmet show. In view of your high standards for foodies and your current popularity, the company has decided to let you go. It's another reality show. To be honest, she would rather work harder and shoot more TV shows than participate in these so-called reality shows. After all, these weren't real at all. They were all acting according to the script given by the TV station. Sometimes, if they didn't act well, they would be scolded for acting awkwardly. "What? Still not willing to go? You know that." "Gao Gao." Suyu stuttered. Han Yueyao chuckled again. "Gao Yeruo." "Yeah, Gao Yeruo just recommended herself to me. With her IQ, she knows this is a popular variety show. You know this reality show has a famous actor as a guest. He hasn't appeared in public for years and has tens of millions of fans. This show will definitely be popular." So, you wanted Han Yueyao to go on the show for her own good. How could she not know? "So, President Su, this good thing happened to me again. Are you really going to support me?" "Of course. Am I going to suppress you?" No, no, no. This is good. I'll continue to make money for you, President Su." "I don't need your money." Suyu chuckled. "President Su, I actually want to gossip a little." "What?" "Last night, the girl who came home with you, the one the media reported today." "Who is she?" Han Yueyao was slightly jealous, but didn't dare to ask Suyu directly. Chapter 41:17. Suyu didn't say a word. Han Yueyao was so scared that she felt uneasy. "To be honest, I don't know her either. Why did you bring her to your house if you don't know her? Can't I have a one-night stand?" Suyu rolled his eyes at her. Haha, I don't believe you. Tell me the truth. President Sue, did you find her for him? Did you take the blame for him? Han Yuyao's imagination ran wild. Su Yu immediately covered his forehead with sweat. Masterin, you're suffering? Don't talk nonsense. Do you want to sign this food show? Sure, but do I get paid? Han Yueyao smiled wickedly. I know you're obsessed with money. Don't worry, I won't take a cent from you. They said it's 1 million yuan for the first season. Although it's not a lot, you're a newcomer, and the most important thing is to show your face. Money is secondary. I'll ask the finance department to transfer the 1 million yuan to your card and pay the taxes for you. What do you think? Wow. President Sue, you're so nice. I love you so much. Han Yuyao's heart pounded when she said this. She just wanted to say the words, I love you, in a joking manner. Otherwise, if she said it seriously, she might not be able to chat with Su Yu so happily in the future. Sure enough, Su Yu didn't care and only smiled. Okay, let's go. I still have a lot of work to do. I don't want to talk nonsense with you. President Sue, I'll treat you and a dinner tonight. Really? Yeah, to repay the boss's love and training. Han Yueyao looked expectant. Unfortunately, Su Yu shook his head. Not tonight. Another day. What? You're going on a date with a beauty again. Han Yueyao was disappointed. Don't talk nonsense. I'm meeting Little Bean and Pudding tonight. Oh, so it's two little princesses. Hearing that it was Pudding and Little Bean, Han Yueyao was immediately energized. Then I'll treat you in another day. Okay. Thank you, President Sue. For what? Su Yu was puzzled. President Sue, thank you for giving me opportunities. Opportunities are also given to those who are prepared. I believe that you will do well. At this moment, Su Yu finally looked like a boss. Even a casual sentence was like chicken soup for the soul. In a good mood, Han Yueyao walked out with the expense report, humming a song. Shaoan, your hairstyle today is very handsome. Before she left, she even teased him and touched his head, took out his phone, and turned on the front camera to take a look. Damn it, haven't I always had this hairstyle for the past few years? And was still muttering to himself in confusion. GK President's office. President Qin, you look tired. Do you want to cancel the meeting this afternoon? Yang saw that Qin Shu had been really tired recently, especially after coming back. He always looked a little worried. He thought that it was because there were too many meetings at the end of the year that Qin Shu was unable to attend. No need. You can leave first. I need to calm myself down. Yes, President Qin. Before Assistant Yang left, he poured a glass of water for Qin Shu. Qin Shu rested his head on his hands as he tried to recall what had happened in the past few days. Everything had returned to the starting point. Su Yu and Mian had returned, and Huasi Qian was dead. Although the child was lost, it wasn't Mian's fault. But why did Qin Shu have a terrifying feeling in his heart? He only realized that terrifying feeling today. That feeling was that he was rejecting Huamin. Yes, the woman he loved deeply to the bones. When he came back this time, he inexplicably rejected her and instinctively refused to get close to her. Chapter 41:18. Even Qin Shu couldn't figure out the reason. It was very strange. At 3 o'clock, the school was over. The twins carried their backpacks and walked out. Qin Zhao, my family built a new golf course. My dad asked me to invite my friends to play golf at my house. There's also a children's golf course. Can you come to my house this week? My mom prepared a lot of delicious pastries and chocolates for us. A handsome little boy stood in front of Pudding. He was more than a head taller than Pudding and Little Bean. Pudding didn't say anything. Little Bean kept pinching her sister. After all, golf was secondary. Chocolate and pastries were what Little Bean was interested in. Say something, sis. He's asking you a question, Little Bean whispered. Sorry, I don't like to play golf, Pudding replied coldly. Oh, that's okay. We can ride horses. We have a horse ranch at home. The little boy didn't give up and continued to invite them. I don't like to ride horses. Then we have hot springs at home. What a coincidence. We have hot springs at home too. As far as I know, our hot springs are the best in the 6 northern provinces and 1 city. It's on Yending Mountain. Pudding didn't give him any face. Then my house. What you have, I have. What you don't have, I have. Thank you for your kindness. Goodbye. Then, Pudding coldly ignored him. The little boy looked like he had nothing left to live for. Little Bean didn't forget to comfort him in a low voice. It's okay. You're not the first person my sister rejected. You're the sixth suitor at this school. Little Bean held back her laughter and ran to catch up with her sister. Sis, why did you reject him? Come to our house and play. It's good to be friends. Then you'll go. Speechless, Little Bean decided to change the topic. Sis, this morning Daddy said he had a surprise for us. Do you know what it is? No. As the two sisters chatted, Little Bean's sharp eyes immediately spotted Su-Yu's car as soon as they walked out the door. Wow. Oh my God, that's handsome Sue's car. Little Bean excitedly pointed at the entrance of the school. It was a dazzling orange Ferrari with a license plate 6666. That was Su-Yu's most eye-catching symbol. When Pudding saw this, a sweet smile appeared on her cold face. Then the two little princesses ran over and threw themselves into Su-Yu's arms. Handsome Sue, I miss you so much. Handsome Sue. Pudding didn't say, I miss you, because she was a little shy. Even if she missed you, she couldn't say it. She wasn't as outgoing as Little Bean. Su-Yu was only wearing a light-colored Burberry windbreaker, which looked a little thin. However, it was very compatible with the sports car. Those who didn't know would think that it was a superstar. The female teachers in the school and the passers-by all gathered around to watch. Some of them even took out their phones to secretly take pictures. Even Pudding and Little Bean's homeroom teacher wouldn't let go of such a good opportunity. He directly came over. Little Bean, Pudding, Uncle Sue is here to pick you up. Teacher. The two children turned around and greeted him politely. Su-Yu raised his head and looked at the female teacher who was dressed very elegantly. She was wearing glasses and had pear blossom hair. She was quite pretty. Hello, I'm Pudding and Little Bean's teacher. My name is Lee Won-Won. Teacher Lee, Su-Yu nodded. The two children are very obedient at school. They're very good. Su-Yu was a little embarrassed. After all, he wasn't a parent, and it was a little awkward to talk about this with a teacher. Handsome Sue, I'm a little hungry. Let's eat. Teacher, do you want to go with us? Little Bean turned around and asked the homeroom teacher. The female teacher looked excited, but before she could say anything, Little Bean interrupted her. I forgot that you might have a date with your boyfriend tonight. After all, you're engaged, and it's not convenient for you to eat with Handsome Sue. Teacher, you won't come with us, right? Chapter 41:19. Little Bean's words almost made the female teacher's face darken, but she still forced a smile. Yeah, I'm not going. You two be good and listen to your uncle. Don't be late for school tomorrow. Teacher, tomorrow is Saturday. Pudding reminded her kindly. I'm sorry. I was so confused that I forgot. Have a good weekend then. Then, the female teacher ran away in shame, not daring to stay any longer. The twins were speechless after they got into Su-Yu's car. As usual, the twins squeezed into the passenger seat. Then, they got into the flashy sports car and went back to the city with Su-Yu. Little Bean had been nagging about eating Japanese food on WeChat for a few days now. Su-Yu booked the most high-end Japanese restaurant in the city. When they came in, the waiter led them to a 4-person private room. In the classically decorated tatami room, Su-Yu sat on one end and the twins sat on the other. I finally know why Handsome Sue doesn't have a girlfriend. Little Bean ridiculed out of the blue. Why? Su-Yu looked at Little Bean, amused. Because in this day and age, there are a lot of green tea bitches. Look at that female teacher of ours. She's already engaged, but when she saw you, she was like a fly that saw a rotten egg. Wow. She immediately jumped on you. She doesn't usually talk like that, but she purposely pretends to be coy. It's disgusting. If I were a man, I wouldn't like a two-faced woman like her. If you don't give your teacher face, won't she make things difficult for you two at school? Su-Yu teased. There's no way she'll make things difficult for us. She'll be lucky if we don't make things difficult for her, Little Bean said confidently. Handsome Sue, Daddy asked you to come pick us up? Daddy said this morning that there's a surprise for us today. Handsome Sue, you're back. Pudding was in a good mood and started talking more. Yeah, I talked to your daddy on the phone. He's still at work, so I came to pick you guys up to eat. Handsome Sue, Do you know that my sister and I missed you so much while you were away? We talked about you every day. Bootlicker, can you even trust your words? Suyu teased. You're slandering me again. I swear, if I'm lying, I'll get fat next month even if I don't eat cake. Little Bean raised her chubby hand. Haha, you're ruthless enough. I believe you. Suyu was overjoyed. Perhaps he had a special affinity with these two children. So every time Suyu saw them, he felt that all his troubles were gone. That feeling was very magical. He even sincerely felt that he was the father of these two children. No matter what he did for them, he would not find it troublesome. No matter how much money he spent, he would not feel any heartache. Let's order. What do you want to eat? Suyu lovingly handed the twins a double menu and let them order. At this time, Pudding said to Little Bean, go and tell the waiter to make us a fresh hot drink. Mommy said that we can't drink cold drinks in winter. It's bad for our stomachs. How about corn juice? Little Bean stood up happily. Anything is fine. You decide. After Little Bean left, Pudding glanced at Suyu and said slowly, Handsome Sue, when I heard that you were kidnapped, I was so worried. When I heard that Mommy went to save you, I couldn't breathe. It's so good to see you guys come back safely. Even if little brother is gone, we don't regret it. If I were Mommy, I would do the same. Handsome Sue is very, very important to us. It's worth it to sacrifice little brother. Hearing Pudding's words, tears welled up in Suyu's eyes. Chapter 41:20. Pudding, now that you mention it, Uncle Sue doesn't know what to say. Suyu tried his best not to cry. After all, he was in front of the children. But Pudding was indeed an ordinary child. She was too smart. Handsome Sue, anyway. I'm glad that you're back safely. Okay. Thank you for my big pudding. Suyu felt the child's longing and warmth in her eyes. Handsome Sue. After Daddy and Mommy came back, the atmosphere in my house was very strange. Let's not talk about this for now. I'm actually very curious what happened to you guys that day. That day. Suyu didn't want to remember what happened that day, so he subconsciously avoided talking about it. But since Pudding was the one who asked, he tried his best to recall. But at this moment, Pudding came back. She opened the door and entered the house. Pudding immediately changed the topic, obviously not wanting Pudding to know. After all, in her eyes, Pudding was innocent and wanted her to live in a beautiful fairy tale world. Handsome Sue, when are you free to take us to Disneyland? Pudding changed the topic. At the mention of Disneyland, Pudding was also very excited. Yeah. Handsome Sue, you promised us. Mommy also said, when you come back, you'll take us to Tokyo. Go away, you two little ancestors. Even if it's to the South Pole to see penguins, I'll take you there. But let's wait for Uncle Sue to finish his work first. I have some things to deal with in the next few days. Okay, Pudding nodded. But don't break your promise, Pudding said. When Suyu was with the twins, he was carefree and felt like the king of the children. The waiters served the dishes one after another, and the three of them ordered a table full of food. Pudding ate happily. On the way back, Suyu drove them home and prepared gifts for the two children. Uncle asked a friend to get these gifts from Europe. Isn't it Christmas? Wow, they're gifts. I'm happy. Thank you, Handsome Sue. Pudding took the gifts and couldn't wait to open them. It was two classic Disneyland school bags, but this time it wasn't Mickey and Minnie. It was Judy the Rabbit and Nick the Fox from Zootopia. It was very cute, and the quality was also very good. In the past, Suyu didn't have a concept. He always thought that expensive things were good. But later on, when he was chatting with Huamin expressed that he didn't want his child to be tempted by material things at such a young age. She was too infatuated with luxury goods, so she didn't want Suyu to spend so much money on gifts. The most important thing was the thought. After thinking about it, Suyu felt that it made sense, so he only bought 2 school bags this time, although the total cost was less than $100. However, Huamin was right. The twins were still very happy. They didn't care about the price of the gift at all. Instead, it was because of Suyu's sincerity. Little Bean knew how to please people. She ran up to Suyu and kissed him on the cheek. Do you want a bite? Suyu looked at the pudding. Pudding turned around and said to Little Bean, you go in first. I need to talk to Handsome Sue. Don't talk bad about me, Qin Zhao Zhao. Don't worry. You're not worthy of my gossip. After Little Bean went in, Suyu felt that Pudding was a little strange today. It was as if she had something to say to him alone. Handsome Su, I feel that after coming back, my mommy is a little... Pudding's voice was very low, but before she could finish, the door opened. Huamin walked out with a purple mink fur draped over his shoulders and a smile on his face. Why aren't you coming in? Mian. Seeing Huamin, Suyu felt conflicted again. He didn't know whether to feel happy or guilty. Pudding swallowed her unfinished words and didn't dare to say them. Chapter 41:21. Mommy. Pudding raised her head and called out weakly. Good girl. Huamin reached out and touched Pudding's face. When her long fingernails brushed Pudding's cheek, Pudding shivered. Pudding shuddered. Then she realized that since when did Mommy like to have such long fingernails? When she worked at the hospital, Huamin was very particular about personal hygiene. Because of her frequent surgeries, she never had long fingernails. Basically, she would trim them once a week. But this time, it seemed that she hadn't trimmed them in a long time. They were frighteningly long. When her fingernails brushed Pudding's cheek, she felt a slight prickle. Since you're here, why don't you come in and sit? Huamin looked at Suyu with a smile. No, I have something to do. How are you feeling? I'm fine. Then I'll come to see you another day. Okay, see you later. After greeting Suyu politely, Huamin walked back with Pudding in his arms. Pudding, what are you thinking about? Seeing Pudding looking down and not saying anything, Huamin asked curiously. Mommy, why are you wearing this? Why? Don't you think purple looks good? But didn't you say that you don't like fur? After all, it's cruel to kill small animals. Huamin smiled calmly. But I didn't buy this. I don't know which relative gave it to me on my birthday. Your grandma said that it's useless to keep it at home. It's cold these days, and Mommy's not feeling well, so I'm wearing it for now. Oh, I see. Pudding didn't say anything. She still looked down and didn't know what to think. After Pudding entered the house, she washed her hands with her sister and went to eat dinner. Huamin sat in front of the fireplace and warmed himself up. No one knew what he was thinking. Qin Shu's parents had asked their old friend to do charity today. Apparently, they had donated some equipment for deaf children and hadn't returned yet. There were only a few servants and 2 kids at home. Uncle Lee, yes, madam. Pour me a glass of wine. But madam, your body right now, it's okay. It's okay to drink a little. I want red wine. Yes, madam. Please wait a moment. Unable to dissuade the hostess, Uncle Lee sent someone to get red wine from the wine cellar. Huamin looked at the 2 children and suddenly felt that they were an eyesore. That big sister seems to be quite smart. Could it be that she saw through something? Hold on for a while longer. Anyway, I'll win once I get Qin Shu. This was the portrayal of her heart at this moment. However, she still had a sweet smile on her face. It was just like how a mother would look at her child. It was so loving. On the other side of the earth, on the far side of the ocean, Huamian, with her big belly, was taken to a beautiful place. The reason why it was called beautiful was because this place was like an underwater world. The round room seemed to be at the bottom of the sea. Above, it was a large transparent glass with bright lights and all kinds of fish. It was spectacular, more beautiful than all the marine parks she had been to before. Miss Mian, here's your dinner. The maid named Messiah and 2 young maids served Huamin carefully. The dishes served were all delicacies from land and sea. There were lobsters, abalones, crabs, palm-sized prawns, and everything else. You can eat less seafood. I've also stewed bird's nest for you. Drink it while it's hot. Messiah, I want to see your master. I want to talk to her, Huamin said calmly. Chapter 41:22. Miss Mian, take good care of yourself. Eat well and sleep well. Messiah didn't seem to want to respond to Hua Min's request. Messiah, my patience is running out. I know you didn't bring me here to let me eat and drink. Is that right? Messiah, please let me see her. I want to know what she's up to. Miss Mian, she doesn't mean to hurt you. The outside world is too dangerous. You can only give birth to the child if you stay here. But I don't trust you at all. Messiah, Messiah, tell her that if she doesn't see me, I'll go on hunger strike. You don't want a dead Huamin, do you? Huamin hated himself right now. Other than threatening others with death, there was no other way. Therefore, after saying this, she despised herself very much. However, this sentence seemed to be very useful to Messiah. She looked at Huamin with a hint of sadness in her eyes. How about this, Miss Mion? Eat this meal and the bird's nest. I'll go and pass on the message for you. Hearing the gypsy made compromise, Huamin didn't dare to push his luck. He began to eat according to Messiah's request. The strange thing was that when Huamin arrived, she found that her set of poison testing utensils was also here. Therefore, she would test them in advance every time she ate because she didn't trust these people at all. After confirming that they hadn't tampered with them, she dared to eat with confidence. Although she wasn't in the mood and couldn't taste the food, she was still very full. Firstly, it was to nourish the child in her stomach. Secondly, it was to satisfy the maid so that she could pass on the message for her. Sure enough, after Huamin finished eating, Messiah nodded in satisfaction and left. The remaining two maids stayed to watch over Huamin. This time, Huamin only carried a small bag with all kinds of poisons, anesthetics, and explosives. She had already used the extremely powerful bomb from before. Now, there were only a few scattered ones left. She didn't dare to use them casually. After all, she didn't know the purpose of these people. 10 minutes later, Messiah walked back and looked at Huamin with a gentle smile. Miss Mion, the master has agreed to see you. Please come with me. All right. Hearing that the leader of these people was willing to meet him, Huamin felt more or less at ease. At least he could meet them and know who they were. Only then could his doubts be resolved. After that, Huamin followed Messiah through a long underwater tunnel. This place was like a maze, with many twists and turns. As they walked, Huamin became dizzy. She felt that everything here was the same. The furnishings were all very similar, but they were all different. Even a genius like her couldn't understand why there was such a mysterious and strange place in the world. Finally, at the end of the Dragon Palace, there was a mysterious and splendid temple. If Huamin were to describe the decorations there in one sentence, it would be, when he was young, he watched Journey to the West. There was a part in it where Sun Wukong caused a ruckus in the East Sea and borrowed the sea-stabilizing needle. It was decorated in the style of the East Sea, a luxurious underwater world. There were crystals, amber, and glass everywhere. It was so luxurious that it made one unable to open their eyes. Huamin vaguely saw a person sitting on the throne in the hall. However, because it was too far away, he couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman. Messiah stopped in her tracks. Miss Mion, please go in. Good luck. After saying this, Messiah turned around and left. Huamin continued forward hesitantly. Looking at the figure getting closer and closer to him, the feeling in his heart grew stronger and stronger. Chapter 41-23. GK Headquarters. After work, Qin Shu walked out of the door and saw Rick waiting for him in his black Panamera. Qin Shu took off his jacket, opened the car door, and got in. Where do you want to drink? Anywhere is fine. Qin Shu wasn't in a good mood, and his tone was gloomy. Rick had known him for years and knew his temper. So, he didn't ask any more questions and left as fast as lightning. 20 minutes later, the two of them came to a small bar in the Eastern Jiujiang Development Zone. There were not many people there, and it was not very big either. The name was Captain Jack. The sign at the door was a statue of Captain Jack from Pirates of the Caribbean. There weren't many people inside, only 2 or 3 tables of men and women. There was a singer on the stage, singing an original rock song. After entering, they found an inconspicuous corner and sat down. Gentlemen, what would you like to drink? The waiter asked. Rick glanced at Qin Shu. I'm fine with anything. Qin Shu was expressionless. Give him a box of anything, Rick said. The waiter was speechless. The waiter was also confused, not knowing what the 2 guests were doing. 2 dozen Budweiser. Qin Shu finally ordered beer. He was tired of drinking foreign wine, red wine, and white wine. He only ordered the most ordinary Budweiser and didn't expose his and Rick's super-rich identities. They couldn't be more low-key. Okay, please wait a moment. Not long after, the waiter served the beer and even gave them some snacks. Rick quickly opened 2 bottles of beer and clinked glasses with Chin-Chu. Let's drink first. You seem to be in a bad mood tonight. Chin-Chu didn't say anything. After toasting with Rick, they finished the entire bottle of beer in less than 5 seconds. His lung capacity was invincible. Since you came back from Yunnan, you haven't been in a good mood. Rick took the initiative to start the conversation. It was difficult for him, the king of awkward silence. Lu Yin is missing, Chin-Chu said. I've heard rumors that Ian and Nalo took advantage of the situation and kidnapped Lu Yin. But I haven't heard any news of them kidnapping Lu Yin. It's just speculation. Do you believe they did it? Chin-Chu asked Rick. That's hard to say. It's possible. Chin-Chu lowered his head and didn't say anything else. Chu, is it because the baby is gone? So, that's not the main reason, Chin-Chu answered. I know you're upset, and so am I. But we have to accept reality, even if it's cruel. Cece's pregnancy was around the same time as Huamin's. When she heard that Huamin was back, she wanted to visit him, but I was afraid that she would upset Huamin, so I didn't let her. After all, both of you are upset that the child is gone. Rick, you don't understand. Children aren't that important. Even if Huamin doesn't give birth to a child for me, I'll still love her. But now what? You don't love her anymore. Rick sensed that Chin-Chu was implying something. Chin-Chu shook his head and didn't say anything. Instead, he picked up the second bottle of beer, opened it, and drank it all in one gulp, even faster than before. Rick, I feel like something's wrong. What's wrong? Rick was also confused. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but I feel like something's wrong. It's a terrible feeling, you know? Chin-Chu looked like he was about to go crazy. Maybe he only showed this kind of anxiety in front of Rick. Gao Ren had been busy lately. The number of cases in the city had suddenly increased, and many children had mysteriously disappeared. Gao Ren was in a lot of trouble. So, he didn't have the time to talk to Chin-Chu. Chu, after this incident, did you get that mental illness again? Rick was referring to the paranoid personality disorder that Chin-Chu got in the States. Chapter 41-24. But it didn't. Really? It has nothing to do with that. I just feel like, how should I put it? It went too smoothly, Rick froze. That went too smoothly? You killed Hua Xiqian and that big villain. Although you lost your child, isn't that the best ending for Huamin and Su Yu to come back safely? But those bad guys, did they really die so easily? If they died so easily, my father-in-law wouldn't have let Lu Yin and me go back halfway. You mean there's still survivors? Or did they take Lu Yin away? His brain wasn't that bad, and he immediately reacted. I'm not sure, it's just a feeling. I've been sending people to investigate, hoping to get confirmation. Okay, we'll be careful, Mr. Chin. Come on, let's continue drinking. Rick knew that Chin-Chu had always been a careful person, so it was normal for him to be worried. Tonight, he came out to talk to Chin-Chu. At least it could relieve his depression for the time being. That night, Chin-Chu drank a lot, but not a lot. When they got home, it was already 3:30 a.m. It was Chin-Chu's chauffeur who drove the 2 drunkards home. When Rick got home, Cece was still awake. Cece usually stayed at her parents' house, but when Rick came back, the couple would stay in a luxurious condominium in the city center that Chin-Chu gave them. It was said that this was a real estate owned by GK, and the average square meter was as high as 80,000 yuan. This condominium was 160 square meters, and it was all luxurious. It was the kind of condominium that could be moved in with a suitcase. Cece wanted to take care of the baby in China, so Rick stayed here with Cece with his bodyguards and nannies. When Rick came back, the moment he entered the house, Cece pounced on him. You're back so late. I drank too much with Chin-Chu. When Rick said this, his breath reeked of alcohol, making Cece dizzy. You really drink a lot, what? You don't like me? I've already given birth to your child. How could I dislike you? Stop fooling around, okay? Cece smiled as she helped Rick take off his coat and poured him a glass of water. Hurry up and sit down. You're already so big, don't run around. Rick didn't want Cece to get busy. He pulled her into his arms. Cece immediately blushed. Rick wasn't someone who knew how to flirt with girls. After being together for so long, it was rare for them to express their love through body language. Perhaps he was drunk today, but he was actually a little bold. Rick, are you okay? It's nothing. I'm just a little emotional. What do you mean? Cece raised her head and looked at Rick's handsome face with infatuation. Shu and Huamin are so in love, but they've been through so much together. Actually, it's easy for two people to fall in love, but it's hard for them to be together. I feel more and more that everything we have now is not easy to come by. Yeah, I think so too. I just want the baby to be born safely and grow up healthily. Cece rubbed her round belly and leaned against Rick's chest. It's a pity that their child is gone. Otherwise, with the same due date as ours, you'd both be hospitalized. Yeah, counting the days, there are less than 12 days left. It's so cruel. I don't even dare to see Sister Mian. I don't dare to comfort her. Cece's eyes turned red when she thought of the child that Huamin and Shu lost. At South Hill Manor. Honey, you're back? When Shu came back in the middle of the night, he was about to enter the study when he saw Huamin sitting in the study without turning on the light. Her sudden voice made Shu feel extremely strange. Chapter 41:25. Mian, why aren't you asleep yet? What time is it? Shu looked down at his watch and felt that something was wrong with Hua Min's appearance in the study at this time. I'm waiting for you. I can't sleep if you don't come back. After Hua Min finished speaking, she stood up and walked over. Wearing white cotton pajamas, she walked towards Shu step by step. Honey, you seem to have been avoiding me recently. Don't talk nonsense. I'm worried about you because you're so badly injured. You need to rest well. I don't want to disturb you. But why don't you hug me to sleep? You used to hug me. Hua Min's innocent eyes questioned Shu. Shu suddenly felt guilty. I haven't been sleeping well recently. I'm afraid that I'll disturb you if I toss and turn. We're husband and wife. We have to face everything together, right? Yes, Mian, you're right. Then come back to bed with me. Hug me to sleep. I want you to hug me. Hua Min began to act coquettishly. She slowly leaned her head towards Shu's chest. For a moment, Shu had the urge to push her away. This kind of feeling made him feel afraid. Daddy, Mommy, what's wrong? Pudding? Hua Min and Shu suddenly turn around. Hua Min didn't approach Shu. Little Bean peed her pants. She also wet our blanket. It's so uncomfortable. Can you help us change? Hua Min, Shu. Okay, Daddy will be right there. Then, Shu walked towards the children's room. Hua Min followed behind Shu. When she passed by Pudding, she deliberately looked down at her. Pudding didn't look up, but she seemed to feel someone's gaze on her. Mommy, I'm sorry. Don't blame Little Bean, okay? I asked for passion juice last night, so Grandma made us a lot. I went to the bathroom many times before bed, but Little Bean was crazy and wouldn't go. So, it's okay. You're still children. Mommy won't blame you. Hua Min used her long fingernails to scratch Pudding's face again, and that chilling feeling again. Pudding was so scared. She quickly ran a few steps behind her daddy. Then the couple changed the sheets for the two kids. Shu held Little Bean, who was sleeping soundly. After changing the children's bed, Hua's hand pulled. And he says, sleeping. Pudding, Daddy is tired from work. Mommy will accompany you, okay? Mommy, Daddy said you're still recovering. You can't catch a cold. Our room is very cold. Grandma doesn't want us to be too warm. I'm afraid you won't be able to take it. Yeah, Mian, this room is air-conditioned. You won't be able to take it. Go back first. I'll stay with Pudding. Okay, I'll go back first. When Mian left, she looked back a few times reluctantly. She saw Shu gently place Little Bean on the bed and then pat Pudding. He was indeed a good father, always patient with his children, but if she wanted to sleep with Shu, even if they didn't do anything, couldn't she just hug him intimately? She didn't believe it. Was it that hard? Or did these people notice something? That night, everyone at South Hill Manor had their own agenda. The next morning, at the breakfast table, Little Bean said mysteriously, "Grandpa, Grandma, Daddy, Mommy, Sis, did you know? Vampires have come to our city." "Who lied to you? How can you believe that?" Grandpa laughed. "It's true, Grandpa. I'm not lying to you. Uncle Gao, Ran has been investigating this case. Wei Yuan told me. It's true, not a joke." Chapter 41:26. "Oh, really? Wei Yuan told you?" Grandpa was doubtful. "Yeah. Little Bean, when did you and Wei Yuan start talking about such heavy topics?" Grandpa teased his granddaughter. Not really. We just talked about it. Anyway, Wei Yuan said it's not safe in the city and doesn't want me and my sister to walk around. Let's see if handsome Sue can finish his work next week. If he's done, we'll go to Tokyo Disneyland." The child's words were just a passing remark. The whole family didn't take it to heart. Huamin didn't feel uncomfortable at all. She didn't care about such a small thing. However, she didn't eat as much as she used to at breakfast. "Mian, is the food not to your liking?" Qin Shu's mother felt bad for her daughter-in-law. "No, Mom. Then why are you eating so little? You obviously don't have as good an appetite as before. You can't go on like this. You just had a miscarriage. It's bad for your health. You need to eat more." "I know. Mom, don't worry. I'll take it slow." Faced with everyone's concern, Huamin was calm. After breakfast, Huamin got into Qin Shu's car. "Honey, I'll go to the company with you this morning and go to the first hospital in the afternoon to get some medicine for your health." "Okay." Qin Shu nodded and didn't say anything. The two of them went to GK together, and Qin Shu spoke even less than before. They didn't talk much in the car. When they arrived at GK, Qin Shu went to work. Assistant Yang poured a cup of warm milk for Huamin. "What's this?" "A young lady, your warm milk." "I don't want it. Take it away." Layla didn't like the taste of milk, especially the extra thick fresh milk. She didn't seem to like the smell. She covered her nose and let Assistant Yang take it away. Assistant Yang was also dumbfounded. "A young lady? You've always been drinking warm milk?" Only then did she react and explain, "My taste has changed a lot after I got sick this time. Don't bring me milk anymore." "Oh, okay." Little Yang nodded, seemingly agreeing with the young lady's order. "A young lady? What would you like to drink? I'll get it for you. You don't have to do anything. Go and do your work." "All right." After Assistant Yang left, Huamin lay on the sofa and flipped through a magazine. Feeling bored, he threw it away. It was then that Bella came in and knocked on the door. "Come in. Sister Mian, I wanted to see you, but I didn't want to disturb you. I heard from President Qin in the conference room that you were here, so I ran over." When Bella returned home, she heard from her mother-in-law that Huamin's child was gone. Then, she felt very sad. Jixin had gone on a business trip and hadn't returned yet. If Jixin knew, that brat would have run back a long time ago. After Bella finished speaking, her eyes were filled with tears. Huamin turned his head and thought for 3 seconds. Then he smiled slightly. "Bella, come and sit down." Holding back her tears, Bella walked over and sat down next to Huamin. Then she looked at her flat belly. "Sister Mian, you've suffered so much. Why don't you rest at home? Can you come to the company?" "I'm fine now, but I heard that induced labor is more painful than childbirth. Plus, there will be scary patterns on the belly. That's why I've never dared to have children. Have you always been in serious condition?" After Bella finished speaking, she glanced at Huamin's belly. After hearing Bella's words, Huamin warily tugged at his clothes, not revealing a single bit of skin. Chapter 41:27. It's not that serious. When I gave birth to Pudding and Little Bean, I didn't have those ugly pregnancy signs. After I came back, I took a lot of imported ointment from the hospital. It's fine. The change in her body was the biggest loophole. After Qin Shu came back, he didn't have any physical contact with her, so he didn't see what Huamin's belly really looked like. When she was in the hospital, it was a private place, so she handled it herself. If Bella hadn't mentioned it, no one would have cared about Huamin's belly. Of course, Bella didn't mean to mention it, but she was very, very unhappy. "Sister Mian, don't be sad. You'll have more babies in the future." "Okay, I'm okay. It's all in the past. By the way, I have something important to tell you. Bella seemed to have thought of something as she purposely lowered her voice in a mysterious manner. Okay, go ahead. Looking around warily, Bella leaned close to Huamin's ear. Sister Mion, you made me feel like Dad. Oh no, that person. I've been watching him and found something. Oh, really? What did you find? Huamian had a faint smile on her face, but Bella didn't notice the creepy smile on her face. She had been with Huamian for years and knew her best. Even if she suspected someone, it wouldn't be Huamian, so she really wanted to tell her all the secrets. Bella lowered her voice again. Sister Mion, this Jingda... You're right. He's really not Dad. Then who is he? Huamin asked calmly. He looks like a monster. Bella still felt creeped out when she thought about it. Monster? Huamin raised her eyebrows. Yes, ever since he came, a lot of strange things have happened in the neighborhood. First, cats and dogs went missing. Then, they were found tortured to death and buried in a corner of the neighborhood. And in the past 2 or 3 days, it's even more ridiculous. Children have started to go missing, and they're all between the ages of 4 and 8. Everyone in the neighborhood is panicking. The police have set up a case, but there's still no progress. What do these things have to do with Jingda? Huamin continued to play dumb. Although I didn't see it with my own eyes, it definitely has something to do with him. One night, I saw him sneaking around in the middle of the night, so I followed him. I don't know what he was doing, but I saw blood on the corner of his mouth, and the look in his eyes was really scary. I don't even dare to sleep too deeply at night, because I'm afraid he won't be able to control himself and will attack me, Jixin, or even Mom. Too bad, Mom trusts him so much. I don't even know how to tell her. Sister Mion, you should tell her. Mom loves you the most and listens to you the most. Leave this matter to me. Homie nodded thoughtfully. Sister Mion, what do you think that person's purpose is? If this continues, I don't know what will happen. I've secretly installed super high-definition cameras in every corner of the house. If he does anything recently, I'll definitely find out. What did you install them? Huamin stared into Bella's eyes and asked. Last night, when he and Mom went grocery shopping, I invited a friend to my house and installed a lot of cameras. As long as I get the evidence, we'll give it to Gao Ran and let the police handle it. With a smile, Huamin reached out his hand and scratched Bella's shoulder with his long fingernails. She didn't know why, but Bella actually shivered for no reason. Chapter 41:28. Bella, you did a good job. She said this with a smile, but the smile on her face made people feel uncomfortable. Bella thought she was overthinking, so she nodded. Anyway, take care of yourself. If you need anything, I'll do it for you. Okay, I will. Then I'll go out first. Okay. By the way, Sister Mion, Jixin is coming back soon. He'll probably be home tomorrow afternoon. When you guys come home, let's have dinner together. We haven't gotten together in a long time. Mom misses the kids. Okay. Huamin was still smiling, maintaining his elegance. As soon as Bella left, Huamin's face darkened. She clenched her fists and cursed. 002 is an idiot. It seems I can't stay for long, or he'll ruin my plan. In a high-end neighborhood in the city, Gao Ran had a simple bite of food and got up to put on his police uniform. You're going out again. Zhu Lingling came out of the bathroom and changed into a peach-pink bathrobe made of silk. It was very seductive. Her hair was slightly wet, which made it easy for people to fantasize about her. Yeah, I'm going to the bureau. You haven't slept for 2 days. Even if you work overtime, you'll have to work half a day. You're not made of iron. Besides, didn't the leader tell you to take a day off? I thought we could take advantage of the fact that our son isn't home. Zhu Lingling didn't finish her sentence, but it was obvious that Gao Ran knew what his wife wanted to say. Gao Ran was a normal man, and so was Zhu Lingling. They were both middle-aged and had normal physical needs. However, there were a lot of things going on in the city bureau recently, and Zhu Lingling had to take care of the kids, so the two hadn't done anything intimate for a long time. Gao Bian went to school, and Gao Ran was home during the day. Zhu Lingling prepared for it, but to her surprise, honey, please understand. These cases have been too stressful recently. I'm really not in the mood. I understand. Why should I? Can you understand me? I'm your wife, not a nanny. I'm not an old maid who takes care of your kids, cooks, and does laundry for you. Zhu Lingling was so angry that she threw the towel in her hand to the ground. Of course I know. I know everything. I promise you. After this case is over, I'll apply for annual leave and take you and Buyu into Bali. Okay? Scram. Zhu Lingling was obviously not satisfied. After all, it was too difficult for Gao Rand to take a vacation. Honey, be a good girl. If you're bored, you can go visit Mian, Gao Rand suggested. I'm not going. Mian just lost her baby and isn't in a good state. If I go, I'll just be a burden to her. She'll be fine after she calms down. I plan to tie her up and take her to yoga, badminton, and fitness classes with me. It seemed that Zhu Lingling had a plan in mind. Okay, honey, be good. Gao Ran left in a hurry. Zhu Lingling was so angry that she lost her appetite for lunch. She sat on the sofa in the living room, sulking. In the city, Chief Gao, aren't you on break today? Yeah, I'm not. I just need to go home and get some sleep. What's the situation now? There's still no news. How many have gone missing? Gao Ren looked worried. 4 gone missing. 3 boys and 1 girl. They're 4, 6, 6, and 7 years old respectively. Are there any other similarities? They're all from Sky Blessing Court. They went missing at different times. One went missing in the morning, the other at night, and the other at noon, the young policeman said. Sky Blessing Court? Isn't that Ji Xin's family's neighborhood? Gao Ran scratched his head, finding it very strange. Chapter 41-29. What do their parents do for a living? Gao Ran asked. 3 of them are businessmen. Most of them have brick-and-mortar businesses in the city. The other one's parents are university teachers. His grandfather is a retired provincial government official. What about their enemies? I've checked. They're all well-connected and haven't offended anyone in society. Chief Gao, could it be that they're roaming the streets? It's not like this has never happened before. I'm not sure yet. Keep watching and see if you can get a call from the kidnappers. Okay, I hope these kids are still alive. Gao Ran's heart ached as he looked at the children who had disappeared for no reason. Especially after Gao Buiyuan became his father, he understood what it was like to be a parent. Other than the missing kids, there were also 2 murders at the nightclub. The victims were both hostesses. They died in a strange way. Their blood dried up, and their bodies were severely damaged. They looked like they were ripped apart after being drained of blood by some wild beast. However, this was an urban area with a large population. He hadn't heard of any ferocious beasts from the zoo. It didn't make sense. Rumors of vampires had begun to spread among the people. Zhu Lingling even asked him about it the other day. When Buiyuan heard it, he kept asking him and even told Wei Yunshu and Little Bean. After a busy morning at the Municipal Public Security Bureau, Gao Ran was frustrated. He took advantage of his lunch break and drove to GK alone. Chief Gao. Yang saw Gao Ran and was filled with respect. He felt that the young chief of the Municipal Public Security Bureau didn't have it easy. Is Qin Chu here? President Qin is inside. He's eating. Eating? Good. I'll take a bite. Then, Gao Ran pushed open the door and walked in. Why are you here? Qin Chu looked up and was surprised to see Gao Ran. I didn't eat, so I came to eat. Gao Ran pulled out a chair and sat down across from Qin Chu. He saw that Qin Chu's food was bland. There were only 2 vegetarian dishes, 1 stir-fried cucumber, 1 stir-fried broccoli, and the other stir-fried tofu soup. Big brother, are you going to become a monk? Gao Ran sighed. I haven't had much of an appetite recently. Qin Chu was depressed. Then I can't. I want to eat meat. Hurry up and give me some. I'm starving. Qin Chu didn't say anything. He picked up the phone and dialed the internal line. Prepare another lunch. 2 meat dishes and 2 vegetables dishes. 10 minutes later, Gao Ran's dishes were delivered to the restaurant. They were much more sumptuous than Qin Chu's. There was meat, fish, and Taiwanese braised meat rice with braised eggs. Gao Ran was probably starving. He ate very happily and buried himself in the food, ignoring Qin Chu. Qin Chu only drank a few mouthfuls of soup before he lost his mood. He continued to review the report. I recently encountered a difficult case. I have a feeling that some alien creature has invaded our city, Gao Ran said as he ate. You've watched too much Star Wars. Qin Chu smiled and didn't continue. He felt that Gao Ran's words were a bit ridiculous. Chu, I'm not lying to you. I've been a police officer for so many years, but I've never been so nervous. Let me tell you, the victim was found a few days ago. Her death wasn't any better than Song Yishu's. But I'm sure that the murderer is a person even more twisted and cruel than Hua Xiqian. So, Director Gao, what's your conclusion? Qin Shu put down the document in his hand and looked up at Gao Ran. Chu, could it be that Hua Xiqian is still alive? Gao Ran didn't know why, but he suddenly guessed. Chapter 41:30. That's impossible. As soon as Gao Ran proposed this seemingly ridiculous conclusion, Qin Shu rejected it. It's not like you don't know how resourceful that guy is. One moment, it's Hua Xiqian, the next, it's Jack. He has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. Gao Ran had already demonized Hua Xiqian in his heart. He even felt that his abilities were beyond that of an ordinary person. Qin Shu, on the other hand, remained calm. Old Gao, don't be silly. That idea doesn't work. First of all, Mian and Suyu saw him die in the explosion with their own eyes. I also saw the DNA results of the remains of the body. I was afraid that someone over there would tamper with it, so I brought it back and did it again. There's no doubt that it was Hua Xiqian. Second of all, no matter how resourceful Hua Xiqian is, no matter what method he used to escape the explosion and is still alive, his goal can't be to suck someone's blood. His goal will always be one. At this point, Qin Shu paused. Gao Ran suddenly understood and continued Qin Shu's words. It's Mian. Yes, Hua Xiqian's only goal in life is Mian. Even if he split into Jack, it's still the same. So, there's no reason for him to suddenly harm a stranger. This motive doesn't work. Tisk TSK. I've been so busy recently that I'm confused. How can I not understand such a simple question? Chu. When your company goes bankrupt and you can't work anymore, come work for me as a criminal police officer. I think you have a talent, Gao Ran joked. Qin Shu glanced at Gao Ran faintly and replied, not to be outdone. If one day you fail at your job and get fired from the municipal bureau, come to GK and clean my office. You really don't want to be taken advantage of. Seeing that Qin Shu was in the mood to joke with him, Gao Ran didn't think much of it. After eating, he left. Qin Shu actually had something in his heart that he wanted to mention to Gao Ran. However, now that Gao Ran himself was in a terrible fix, Qin Shu thought about it and felt that it was inappropriate, so he didn't say it out loud. In the school, you can do whatever you want in PE class. Little Bean was a girl like the wind. She carried the football and went up. Perhaps everyone was older than Little Bean, so they knew to give in to her. Pudding, on the other hand, was sitting on a bench at the edge of the room with her phone in her hand. She was in a daze. What are you thinking about? Wei Yunshu walked over and sat beside Pudding. But Wei Yunshu and Pudding weren't in the same class. At first, they weren't in the same school, but later on, they transferred over. Our piano class is so boring. Those things, I can play them with my eyes closed. I was so bored that I came out to get some fresh air. Seeing you sitting here, you seem to have something on your mind. Pudding lowered her head and said nothing. It's okay if you don't want to talk about it. I'll just sit with you for a while. Do you think that I look as bad as someone who lost money in the stock market? Pudding tilted her head and smiled. No, because you don't know how to lose money in the stock market. As far as I know, ever since you started playing the stock market, you haven't lost money, the female version of Warren Buffett. What Warren Buffett? I'm just lucky because of my dad. I'm actually very similar to my dad in many ways. Yes, Uncle Chin's personality is exactly the same as yours. But I think I'm also as calm and rational as my mom, calm and collected. Miss Pudding, narcissism is a disease that needs to be treated. Do you have medicine? Pudding tilted her head and smiled sweetly. She rarely joked with boys, but Wei Yunshu was different. She seemed to like this boy a lot. Chapter 41:31. I don't have any medicine, but I could try to treat it for you. But it'll take a long time. How long? Pudding looked at him in confusion. Maybe for the rest of my life. Pudding felt her heart skip a beat. It was a strange feeling. It was ridiculous for such a young child to talk about a lifetime. But Pudding didn't think Wei Yinshu was joking. Wei Yinshu's parents were as smart as Qin and Huamian. Wei Liao was introverted and low-key, while Jiang Xiaowei was smart and farsighted. Their son must be good. In fact, in terms of EQ, Pudding and Wei Yinshu were much better than Pudding and Gao Buiyuan. Among these children, Gao Buiyuan was the most childlike. He was more innocent. Although Pudding and Wei Yinshu were regarded as little geniuses, their parents weren't very happy. She remembered that once when the two families had a gathering, Huamin said that he didn't want his daughter to be mature too early. Children should do what children do when they are young. Pudding was exposed to society too early. She was exposed to money, stocks, and finance. She had a heavy burden on her heart and couldn't find the simplicity and happiness of childhood. Ahem. Pudding was a bit embarrassed and changed the topic. How's Annie Xiaowei these days? My mom has always been excellent. She's like a workaholic, just like Annie Huamin. Huh. How about your auntie? Annie has been doing well since she remarried. Grandpa and Dad don't seem to be as against Uncle as before. Although they're not anxious, at least they don't mock him anymore. Our topics are so strange. Huh. We're not like children at all. Pudding realized that she was funny. Pudding, you don't look happy these days. You don't talk on WeChat. Is it because of that thing? Wei Yinshu didn't dare to continue and seemed to be observing Pudding's expression. What thing? Pudding wasn't sure which thing Wei Yinshu was talking about. Annie Mion's child. I heard my mom and dad talk about it. My brother is gone, right? Although I don't know the reason, it's indeed bad news. This is indeed a big blow to our family, but it's not because of this. Pudding thought for a while, but didn't know what to say. Yinshu, let me ask you, if someone looks exactly like your mother, with the same personality, voice, and behavior, and she pretends to be your mother, can you tell the difference? To be honest, I really don't know how to answer because this question is so sudden. I'm not mentally prepared at all, but I feel that. I might not be able to tell at first, but as time goes by, I'll feel it. After all, I've been with Mom for so long, I know some small details about her life. Yes. What's wrong? Why are you asking this all of a sudden? Wei Yinshu felt that Pudding was acting strange today, and the topics she talked about were also very heavy. It's nothing. I've been watching too many sci-fi movies recently, so I was just asking. Come to my house this weekend. My dad has a friend who is an artist. He is very talented in art. I want to learn from him. I'm not going. I'm having dinner with Handsome Sue at Lord Sue's place this week. All right, next time. All right. Wei Yinshu looked at the time and secretly got up to go back to the classroom. Pudding looked at the clouds in the sky, a little confused. Mom, should I continue to believe you? Is that still you? Chapter 41:32. Pudding didn't know if she was right. She had been looking for an opportunity to tell her father, but she didn't dare to. She was afraid that her father would be sad because she suspected their mother, who loved them the most. However, Pudding truly felt that her mother had been strange ever since she came back from Yunnan after saving Handsome Sue. She felt strange and couldn't tell what was wrong. In short, the feeling was very strong. She even used her phone to search for information on Baidu behind her parents' backs. For example, she had been poisoned by witchcraft. Sometimes, they would be possessed by ghosts or evil spirits. Sometimes they would collide with the mountain god. She also wanted to see her grandmother and ask her if there were any powerful immortals in the city. It would be best if she could help her mother see what was wrong. If it wasn't her mother, there was no reason why her father didn't know anything when she felt it. Therefore, Pudding was very conflicted and her heart was in a mess, but she didn't dare to tell anyone. At the same time, on the other side of the earth, in the underwater palace, Huamin walked forward step by step and finally saw that it was a woman sitting in the hall. He couldn't see her face because she was wearing a crystal mask. This was the first time Huamin had seen a mask made of crystal. How good was the craftsmanship? However, for some reason, when he saw the mask, Huamin suddenly thought of Layla, who loved to wear a golden mask. There must be some kind of relationship between them. These people all like to wear masks. They must be accomplices. Child, you're here. The voice was very pleasant, but when it called Huamin himself, it confused Huamin. Who are you? Why did you bring me here? What's your relationship with Layla? We're my friends. Huamin had too many questions and asked four in one go. The woman just smiled and stood up to walk down. With every step she took, the gold ornaments on her body clattered. Her shawl was gorgeous and dazzling like a queen's. It looked dreamy and unreal. Mian, do you know who I am? Huamin's pupils constricted. He didn't know why this woman would say that. Mian, you've always been smart. I heard that your EQ and IQ were much higher than normal kids when you were young. Since you're so smart, why don't you guess who I am? Do we know each other? Huamin was a little confused. Don't you think I'm familiar? The woman stared into Huamin's eyes and smiled slightly. Although the crystal mask covered half of his face, the mouth under his nose was still very clear. Huamian stared at the half of his face carefully. Indeed, she felt a sense of familiarity. She tried her best to recall where she had seen this woman before. However, after searching for half a day, he still found nothing. No matter who you are, stop pretending to be a ghost. I feel that you didn't spend so much effort to get me here, just to feed me, right? Huami knew that this group of people must have a purpose, but he didn't know what it was. However, Huamin vaguely felt that it had something to do with his biological father, Professor Liu. This was because he had heard from Yin that his father seemed to have something extremely important. Taking was also the goal of many ambitious people. Yin had chased after Yin for many years for that thing. After hearing Huamin's words, the woman raised her hand and slowly took off her mask. The moment he saw her face clearly, Huamin stopped breathing. There was only one voice in his ears. It was the words that the woman said softly, "Mian, I'm your mother." Chapter 41:33. Huamin never expected to see Linya here, or rather, the living Linya. At that moment, she felt as if her brain had short-circuited. All that was left in her mind was that voice that kept echoing. "Mian, I'm your mother. I'm your mother." Then, Huamin's reaction was too big and intense, and she fainted. Then, she had a very long dream. In the dream, she was still young, only 5 or 6 years old. She was playing in a beautiful house with her father and mother. "Mian, come to mommy." Mian stumbled and finally pounced into her mother's arms. She smelled the unique warm scent. It was her mother's scent. Then, she raised her head and looked at the exquisite face that angered both men and gods. Suddenly, the scene changed and turned into her own appearance, or rather, Layla. "Huamin, you're finally in my hands." Then, Huamin woke up from her dream. She was sweating profusely as she looked around in horror. She wished that she was at South Hill Manor. She wished that she could see her husband the moment she opened her eyes. In the past, whenever she had a nightmare at home, Qin Shu would wake up quickly. Then, he would gently pat her back to comfort her. He would hug her from behind and give her a sense of security. But here it was still those damn white rooms. From her stomach, she heard the baby moving vigorously. Huamin subconsciously touched her stomach. "Baby, don't be afraid. Mommy is here. We have to try our best to escape, okay? We have to go back and see Daddy and sisters safely," Huamin muttered to herself. Then she got off the ground. Hearing the sound, the maid at the door came in. "Sister Mian, what do you need?" Her tone was polite, but the maid always had a poker face and was expressionless. Huamin even felt that they were emotionless robots. "Where is that person? Where is she? I want to see her. Master has already left. Miss Mian has been unconscious for a day and a night. You should rest well." "Left? Where did she go?" "I don't know. Where's Messiah?" "Messiah is resting. Do you want me to call her over?" "Forget it. Let her rest." Huami knew that even if he called Messiah over, the result would be the same. She wouldn't say much. "I'm hungry. I want to eat something." "Okay, Miss Mian. What do you want to eat?" "We'll prepare it right away." "I want to eat pork and celery dumplings." "What? The maid obviously found it strange. It was no wonder. They were all foreign girls and had never heard of such China-style things. I want to eat dumplings. Huamin seemed to feel wronged. He sat on the chair and panted heavily. She really wanted to eat dumplings. She wanted to eat the dumplings made by her mother, Yang Meiyerong. She wanted to eat her husband's black pepper pasta. She wanted to eat her mother-in-law's sweet and sour pork ribs and fried meatballs. She wanted to see pudding and little bean. She wondered how her children were doing, and what happened to Su Yu in that explosion. She had too many worries in her heart. Huamin lowered his head and tears rolled down his cheeks. She knew that what she experienced during the day wasn't a dream. There must be a reason why that woman said she was her mother, but she didn't think it was that simple. After all, she had experienced the horror of Jing to coming back from the dead. She was very suspicious of this Linya who claimed to be her mother. Late at night, GK headquarters, Qin Chu worked overtime until 9 o'clock before he slowly went downstairs. But as soon as he walked into the elevator, all the lights in the elevator went off. Then he felt there was another person in the elevator. Chapter 41-34. Qin Chu subconsciously touched the pistol at his waist. It was a habit he had developed in the U.S. He was always afraid of danger and couldn't fight back. 3 seconds later, the elevator light lit up. Qin Chu's gun was pointed at the man's head. "Don't be nervous. I'm not here for trouble." It was standard English with a German accent. After seeing the man's face, Qin Chu was slightly surprised. Nalo. Who was Nalo? There was a famous pair of brothers in Germany. The older brother was a mafia boss, and the younger brother was a terrorist. Therefore, Nalo was Ian's brother, the man who was rumored to have a close relationship with Huasiqian. Nalo was wearing a dark gray British-style cashmere coat with gentlemanly politeness. No matter how one looked at him, he did not have the temperament of a German mafia boss. But Qin Chu didn't dare to let down his guard. After all, he wasn't a friend. "I'm glad you can recognize me." Nalo smiled. Qin Chu didn't put down the pistol. It was still pointed at his head. "Young man, don't be nervous. Let's talk," Nalo said in an extremely calm tone. Elevator 5432 went directly to the first floor. The moment the elevator door opened, Qin Chu quickly put away his pistol. The two walked out of the elevator together. "Do you want to have a cup of tea? I heard that Chinese people like to drink tea." Nalo invited him. Sure. Qin Chu knew he couldn't refuse. If he provoked this guy, it would be troublesome. Therefore, he wasn't afraid or panicked. Instead, he followed Nalo alone. Nalo's subordinates followed them from a distance and seemed to be observing their movements. Nalo got into Qin Chu's black Bentley, and they went to a high-end tea house in the city center. Inside a private room on the top floor, the beautiful waitress made a pot of Westlake Longjing tea and poured a cup for each of them. Qin Chu and Nalo sat facing each other. "What do you want to say?" "I have to go home." Obviously, Qin Chu didn't want to have too much to do with this guy. Nalo took off his hat calmly and put on the table. He picked up the teacup and took a small sip. China's tea ceremony is extensive and profound. We used to like drinking tea when he was in Germany. His favorite was the Hong Pao, Nalo said to himself. Qin Chu didn't say anything. He just listened quietly. "We've heard about what happened to your wife. It's a pity that the child is gone. You guys are very well informed." Qin Chu's face was very calm. "I've actually been looking into Hua's whereabouts, and I accidentally heard about the explosion. So, I wanted to ask you if Hua is really dead." Qin Chu was not in a hurry to answer. He picked up his teacup and took a small sip before slowly putting it down. "Huasiqian is indeed dead. Did you see it with your own eyes?" Nalo asked, unwilling to give up. "I didn't see it with my own eyes, but Su Yu and Mian can testify. Plus, I found pieces of the body at the scene and did multiple DNA tests and comparisons." "What a pity. He left us like that." Nalo seemed depressed. His eyes dimmed slightly. He risked his life to enter the country and see Qin Chu just to get confirmation from him. After all, Qin Chu wasn't a liar. When he heard that Huasiqian was really dead, Nalo's heart was heavy and sorrowful. When he left, was it Jack or? Nalo seemed to know about Hua Xiqian's split personality. It was Hua Xiqian, Qin Shu answered. Chapter 41:35. Nalo remained silent and continued to drink his tea. The two of them didn't speak, and a full 3 minutes went by. The air seemed to have frozen. Nalo finished the last sip of tea in his cup. Then he stood up slowly. Thank you for telling me this. I should go now. Qin Shu stood up as well. I've already paid for the tea. Thank you, Nalo said as he turned around. As soon as Nalo turned around, Qin Shu said, see you never again. Yes, he didn't want to see these people, whether it was Ian or Nalo. He didn't want to have anything to do with these people. Ian didn't want to let go of Lu Yin, but that was his business. But Nalo, a mafioso, had never shown any hostility toward them. Qin Shu didn't want to have anything to do with these people in this life. When he walked to the door, Nalo suddenly thought of something. He turned around and looked at Qin Shu. Is Lu Yin dead? I don't know. Qin Shu told the truth. It's a pity if she's dead, but there are rumors out there. If she doesn't show up for a while, I'm afraid her organization and base will be in danger. It could be a reminder or a warning. Anyway, Nalo said these words before he left. Qin Shu was also frustrated. He hadn't figured out what was going on yet. He didn't care about Lu Yin. Lu Yin was missing, and he didn't know where she went. He couldn't even contact the professor. He went to find Lu Yin, but didn't get any news. There were rumors out there that Lu Yin was dead. Her subordinates, her connections, her clients, and her enemies, countless people were waiting for this news. If Lu Yin died, the mercenary world would be in chaos again. After all, this little devil had been the #1 girl in the mercenary world for many years. On the way back, Qin Shu felt uneasy. The way back was extremely long. He didn't feel as eager to go home as before. He could feel his rejection of Hua Min growing stronger. At first, he didn't want to see him, but now, he didn't want to see him. However, he still couldn't figure out what had caused the current situation. Was it really because Hua Min sacrificed their child to save Suyu? No, there was no such thing. Qin Shu was also sad that the child was gone. However, he was definitely not a petty man who would reject Hua Min because of Suyu. South Hill Manor after Qin Shu returned home. He first went to the master bedroom and looked at Hua Min, who was sound asleep. He looked at her with a complicated expression before he turned around. Hubby, Hua Min suddenly stood up and stared into Qin Shu's eyes. Why are you awake? I had a nightmare. I dreamt of blood. I dreamt of that explosion. It's all in the past, Mian. Hubby, don't go to the study. Can you stay with me? Hua Min's eyes were filled with tears. She looked at Qin Shu with pleading eyes. Her gaze was heartbreaking and irresistible. However, Qin Shu stood there, unmoved. Hubby, do you not love me anymore? Hua Min asked a surprising question. Why do you ask? Qin Shu's voice was a little hoarse as he looked at Hua Min in the dark. You've been avoiding me since we came back from Yunnan. Don't think I don't know. Are you angry with me? Because I didn't protect our child? Qin Shu didn't say anything. Or do you think that Su Yu is more important to me than you and the child? Hua Min's tone was aggressive. Chapter 41:36. She thought Qin Shu would apologize or comfort her, but Hua Mian didn't. But he didn't. Mian, you're thinking too much. Go to sleep. Qin Shu, don't go. Tell me clearly. Do you dislike me? Do you not love me anymore? Or do you suspect that there's something between Su Yu and me? Hua Min suddenly raised her voice. Hearing this, Qin Shu stopped in his tracks. Why would you say that? Qin Shu looked at her in surprise. Then, Hua Min said word by word, because when we were locked up by Zhao Qingya, we were in the same room. And in order to get revenge on Su Yu, Zhao Qingya drugged Su Yu. You know that kind of drug. We were alone in the same room. So, Qin Shu's pupils contracted. So Zhao Qingya thought that kind of thing happened, but Su Yu didn't do anything to me. You have to believe that there's nothing between us. So, Mian, what are you trying to say to me? I just want to say, honey, we've been together for so many years. Don't you know my character? Shu was silent. I didn't want to lose the child either. I didn't want to either. Why are you blaming me for everything? Yu saved our lives, so you agreed when I went to save him, right? Why are you going back on your word now? Honey, you're not that kind of person. Tell me why. Do you have to force me to divorce you? Mian, you're too tired. You should sleep. After Shu said this, he turned around and left. Huamin was so angry that she picked up the pillow and threw it at the door. After Shu's figure disappeared, she smiled strangely. Huamin, your man is just so-so. I thought he loved you so much. Haha, how ironic. Now it seems that he's starting to dislike you. What a pitiful woman. Shu went to the study and sat down. Pudding walked in with a cup of coffee. She was barefoot and wore a light blue cotton nightgown. Daddy, Pudding, why are you here? Come here, the floor is cold. Shu's love for his children did not diminish at all. When he saw Pudding standing barefoot on the floor, his heart immediately ached. He got up and picked up Pudding. He carefully took the coffee and placed it on the table. In the past, when Mommy was at home, she would always prepare a cup of coffee for Daddy. Recently, Daddy likes to drink American coffee without sugar. Yes, my baby is so smart. Pudding's words were like a small sun that warmed Shu's heart. Daddy, did you quarrel with Mommy? You heard everything. Okay. Pudding nodded. It's nothing serious. Don't worry. Mommy has been in a bad mood recently. We won't provoke her. But I heard her say she wanted a divorce. That's just something I said in anger. It's not true. Daddy, have you felt Mommy lately? Pudding looked into Shu's eyes and wanted to tell him what was on her mind. But she had a feeling that her daddy was hinting at her with his eyes, telling her not to say it out loud. Yeah, I feel it. Mommy has been in a bad mood recently. After all, she's not in good health and is still recuperating. She'll be fine after a while. Shu interrupted his daughter and did not let Pudding finish her words. Pudding was smart enough to realize something and did not mention it again. Then, she told her daddy some things about her school and the interesting stories between her and Pudding. In the master bedroom, Huamin put away his Bluetooth headset. The conversation between father and daughter is so boring and uninformative. She was very cautious and eavesdropped on the conversation between Shu and Pudding. Finding it extremely boring, she pulled off the headset and tossed it aside. After sending Pudding back to her room, Shu activated the anti-eavesdropping device. He called the professor again. He needed his father-in-law's help. At least, he should find Lu Yan first. Chapter 41:37. Unfortunately, he couldn't get through to the professor. Shu had no choice but to call Xiao Fei. Brother-in-law. Fei, where are you now? Yunan. Shu, why are you still there? I thought Yin couldn't have gone far with her injuries, so I started to expand my search area. You still haven't heard from her? No. Xiao Fei was disappointed. Can you get in touch with the professor? I can't. I don't know why. It seems like the professor is in trouble. Shu analyzed. Is there anything you need me to do? No. Be careful. I have a feeling this isn't as simple as it seems. Okay. I will. After hanging up the phone, Shu slept in the study again. The next morning, at breakfast, he didn't see Huamin. Where's Mian? Shu's mother didn't know that they were sleeping in separate rooms. She should still be in her room. I'll go take a look. A young lady went out this morning. One of the maids interrupted. Where did she go? Shu froze. She didn't say. I saw a young lady go out at around 5 a.m. in a cotton-padded jacket. She hasn't come back yet. Shu picked up his phone and called Huamin, but his phone was turned off. What's wrong? You too? Shu's mother asked immediately when she realized something was wrong. We had a fight last night. Son, how could you fight with Mian? She's still in confinement at a time like this. What if she gets angry and gets sick? How can you be so immature? Shu's mother scolded her son. Shu's father also said, don't eat. Go out and see if she went back to Sky Blessing Court or Lingling in Xiaowei's place. She'll be fine. Mian isn't a willful person. She's in a bad mood, so let her go out for a walk. Son, what kind of attitude is this? That's your wife. Don't you feel bad for her? The two elders of the Qin family also felt that there was something wrong with the way their son treated their daughter-in-law. Qin Chu didn't say much. He calmly finished his breakfast and sent the twins to school. On the way, Little Bean was still gossiping. "Daddy, what's wrong with you recently? You've been so cold to Mommy." "No, Daddy has been too busy with the company recently." "Really? Don't tell me you have a mistress?" Little Bean's words made Qin Chu laugh. "If there is, what will you do?" "Of course it's to fight against the mistress with Big Sister and protect Mommy. Besides, Daddy, your taste can't be that bad, right? There's no woman better than Mommy in this world." "That's right. In this world, there's no better woman than your mother." Qin Chu sighed slightly. After sending the children to school, Qin Chu had just gotten into the car when he received a call. After seeing the caller ID, Qin Chu vigilantly turned on the anti-eavesdropping device before answering the call. "Really? Is the result out? Did you check it carefully?" "Yes, President Qin. I've checked it and confirmed it carefully." "Very good, I got it." "Don't do anything for now. Listen to my orders." "Okay, President Qin." The moment he hung up the phone, Qin Chu finally felt relieved. He finally confirmed his suspicions for a long time. The snow in the north was getting heavier and heavier. It would fall from dawn to sunset. Qin Chu looked up at the heavy snow falling from the sky. "Mian, I know you're guiding me. I won't let you down." Chapter 4138. Suyu had a sudden increase in gossip recently because he went in nightclubs every day. Every day, he would bring foreign young models home, but send them away 2 hours later. Many gossipy paparazzi thought that Suyu was back to his old life of debauchery. So, many media outlets began to report on it. Most of the titles were Suyu, the prodigal son, non-existent. The young master of the Su family finally gave up his love and returned to his extravagant nightlife. After years of hard work, Suyu is finally exhausted. Where does his love go this time? Foreign young models? Artists under him? Which one is Suyu's final destination? When Suyu saw these reports, he almost laughed out loud. "Boss, you still have the nerve to laugh. Everyone is writing about you as if you're a deer in heat. They're saying that you bring a lot of women home every day and that you're living a life of debauchery." One was indignant and felt indignant for his boss. He really wanted to tell those people that his boss bringing women home was just a cover. In fact, he didn't do anything. Every time, those women would sit in the living room for 2 hours and then leave with a considerable amount of money. But why did Suyu do this? Why did he do such a boring and money-burning thing? Only he knew. After Suyu came back, he began to blame himself. Then, it turned into fear. He was afraid to see Qin Chu and Huamin. He felt that the loss of that child was his fault. So, he didn't dare to calm down. Other than going to work and getting off work, he could only go to nightclubs to get drunk. Then, to create the illusion that Huamin was no longer in his heart, he began to act like he did many years ago. He pretended to bring women home to spend the night, and so on. In fact, he did this to cover up his true thoughts. Let them write whatever they want. It's good. Everyone can eat melons. Aren't you afraid that Miss Han will misunderstand you? And felt sorry for Han Yueyao, who was in love with Suyu. What does it have to do with Han Yueyao? She's not my girlfriend, Suyu said casually. What if she becomes your girlfriend in the future? Don't talk nonsense. Eat your melon. After making fun of Shaolin, Suyu lowered his head and continued reading the financial news. Noon Lady Su arrived at the company, carrying a purple dye, fey bag, and dressed elegantly. On the outside of the beige dress was a mid-length down jacket. It was very elegant. "Mom, why are you here?" "Yeah, I was just passing by. Let's have lunch together." "Sure, it's rare for you to be in the mood." Suyu tidied up, picked up his coat, and followed his mother downstairs. There was a home-cooked restaurant behind the company. It was Lady Su's favorite dish. Because the local dishes were very traditional, Lady Su was very nostalgic and often came here to eat. After the mother and son walked in, Suyu saw Han Yueyao from a distance. "She was called by you?" Suyu wasn't stupid. He knew that it wasn't as simple as a chance encounter. "Yeah, I met Yao Yao when I first arrived, so I asked her to order first. Then the three of them sat in a small private room upstairs. When Han Yueyao saw Suyu, she was a bit nervous. President Su. Sit down. Have you ordered Yao Yao? Lady Su looked at Han Yueyao affectionately. Annie, I only ordered one dish. You and President Su can order the rest. I'm not picky and will eat anything. Okay, let me have a look. Holding the menu, Lady Su walked out with the waiter while looking at it. Only Su Yu and Han Yueyao were left in the private room. The atmosphere was a bit awkward. President Su, you've been very busy recently. You've been bringing foreign models home. You have to take care of yourself. Ahem. I heard from the doctor that excessive indulgence is not good for your health. Chapter 41:39. Suyu chuckled. I say, little girl, why are you still so sharp-tongued? How dare you diss your boss? I'm not dissing you. I'm just telling the truth. I'm giving my boss advice. Honest words are harsh to the ears, understand? Then should I thank you? You're welcome. Just give me a bonus at the end of the month. Han Yueyao, don't you have any shame? You've already won a Bugatti from me. What else do you want? Isn't that a loss? Suyu, it had been a long time since he argued with Han Yueyao. After this feeling returned, Suyu suddenly felt quite relaxed. This was the first time he felt so relaxed since he returned from Yunnan. To be honest, whenever he calmed down, he would start to blame himself endlessly. Then, he would be conflicted and blamed himself for letting Huamin down. Every time he saw Han Yueyao, this girl seemed to have a magical power. She could make him forget some of his troubles for a while. Therefore, this might be the reason why Su Yu didn't dislike her. After a while, Lady Su returned. She sat beside Su Yu. Yao Yao, you accepted another reality show. Ah, President Su arranged it for me. Why you sound like you're blaming me? Su Yu smiled. No, I'm grateful. Really, sometimes I'm so excited that I want to kowtow to you. Han Yueyao's naughty behavior cheered Mrs. Su up. She didn't blame Han Yueyao for her impoliteness. In fact, after Su Yu was kidnapped, Lady Su had been in a bad state of mind and was depressed. When Han Yueyao came to find her, what she said shocked Lady Su for a long time. From then on, she felt that this girl was a good person. No matter what, she hoped that she could set her up with her son. If Su Yu could marry Han Yueyao, it would be a blessing. The waiters served the dishes one after another. Lady Su kept putting food on Han Yueyao's plate, making her feel embarrassed. Yao Yao, you are not little anymore, right? Yeah, I'll be 26 after the new year. I'm getting old. Han Yueyao chuckled as she gnawed on the pork ribs. The corners of her mouth were stained with grease, but she didn't know how to wipe it off. She was very cute. You're already 26. You're not young anymore. Then, have you had a boyfriend since you came here? Lady Su asked deliberately. In fact, she knew about Han Yueyao's situation. Perhaps these words were meant for Su Yu to hear. Su Yu ate in small bites as he listened to their conversation. I don't have time. Ever since I joined Imperial Star, I've been as busy as a dog. No, I think too much. In fact, even a dog isn't as busy as I am. I'm so busy that I have to hold the stopwatch when I go to the washroom. I don't have time to date. Haha, you're right. Dancing Allure is a tough show. I won't accept such a tough show in the future, Lady Su said, and picked up a piece of rib for Han Yueyao. Yao Yao, yeah, what kind of boys do you like? Tell Annie. Annie knows a lot of people. When the time comes, I can introduce some outstanding boys to you. Han Yueyao said shyly. She glanced at Su Yu shyly. I only have two requirements. The first is a man, and the second is a man alive. Lady Su laughed so hard that she rocked back and forth. You little girl, you're almost performing a crosstalk today. You're so funny. I'm asking you seriously. You'd better answer properly. In fact, I think the boys I like only need to be like President Su. Before Han Yueyao could finish, Su Yu looked embarrassed and gulped down water to hide his embarrassment. Chapter 41:40. Then, Han Yueyao continued, as long as the boy I like is like President Su's bodyguard and ahem, so it's you. Su Yu heaved a sigh of relief. He thought Han Yueyao was going to say, "If only the boy I like is like President Su." Unfortunately, although Han Yueyao was usually loud, she wasn't the kind of person who could say it out loud at critical moments. She was still very shy. After all, she had the guts to confess to him that day, but was interrupted by Su Yu. Therefore, Han Yueyao thought that Su Yu might not be interested in her. That little bit of affection might be an illusion. Perhaps it was because Huang Min treated her well that Su Yu showed her some pity. This child is so narrow-minded. Lady Su smiled as if she could tell that Han Yueyao was too shy to say it. "Mom, what are you talking about? That is also a good man. Okay?" Su Yu immediately defended and, "If young master and didn't have Queen Lu in his heart, I would be happy to set you guys up." "Who's Queen Lu?" Lady Su was confused. "No, I'm just using an analogy. I mean, his character is good. I just want my future boyfriend to have a character of that level," Han Yueyao quickly explained. During the meal, Han Yueyao didn't get anything else other than the reference value of her boyfriend. Lady Su wasn't in a hurry. After the meal, Lady Su left with the bodyguard. Su Yu and Han Yueyao walked back to the company. Due to the boring paparazzi at the front door, the two of them tacitly chose to go through the back door. When only the two of them were left, the atmosphere became awkward again. Like a couple, they strolled on the streets. Only then did Han Yueyao dare to secretly size up Su Yu. Su Yu was tall and stylish in everything he wore, like a male model. Su Yu had always liked light colors, mainly white and beige. In winter, he liked to wear light blue and coffee-colored cashmere coats and thin cotton jackets. Today, Su Yu was wearing a short coffee-colored jacket. On his left arm was a classic Medusa symbol. Versace didn't seem to be the most expensive brand, but it was Su Yu's favorite. His love for Huang Mian was as everlasting as his love for her. "What are you looking at?" Su Yu glanced to Han Yueyao in puzzlement. "Handsome Su, you're so handsome, like a male model. Your flattery is comparable to Little Bean's." "Haha, I'm not as cute as Little Bean." "You're not as cute as Little Bean, but you can eat more than her. You're such a foodie." "President Su, is it really okay for you to slander your artist like this? The other bosses are their bosses' bosses? Is I to be the bosses to be a boss? Fine, you win. I admit defeat." Han Yueyao cupped her hands at him. Su Yu chuckled. The two of them walked into the elevator at the same time. Just then, they saw a person walk out of the elevator. Both Su Yu and Han Yueyao froze. It was none other than Huang Min. She was wearing a long, white cotton jacket. Her hair was loose, and she didn't look very well. Huang Min glanced at Han Yueyao indifferently. Then, she looked at Su Yu. "Mian, why are you here?" Su Yu was surprised that Huang Min could walk around so early in the morning. Didn't she need to lie down? "Do you have time to talk?" Huang Min's voice was choked with sobs. Chapter 41:41. "Of course. Let's go to my office." Su Yu immediately led Huang Min upstairs. "Sister Mian," Han Yueyao had wanted to take the opportunity to say hello to Huang Min. Yesterday, she had asked her mother to buy some high-quality cicadeer pregnancy ointment for Huang Min to nourish his body. She wanted to visit him, but before she could, Huang Min ran out and came to Imperial Star. She didn't look well. Huang Min didn't stop at Han Yueyao's call of Sister Mian. He didn't even look at Han Yueyao and went upstairs with Su Yu. Han Yueyao was left alone, feeling a little awkward. Han Yueyao thought Huang Mian hated her for not visiting her. Now that she was famous in Asia and had won the alluring dance show, she began to show off. But that wasn't the case. Han Yueyao blamed herself. She immediately took out her cell phone and opened WeChat. She sent a long WeChat message to Huang Min. "Sister Mian, I'm sorry. First of all, I apologize to you. You've been back for days, and I haven't visited you. It's not because I'm busy with work or other excuses. I just thought that what you went through this time was a big blow, and I wanted you to have a good rest and quiet. You might think that I'm ungrateful, but please don't be mad at me. I'm not that kind of person. I'll always remember everything you've done for me." After a long time, Huang Min still didn't reply. Han Yueyao returned to the performance department in disappointment. Huomin's cell phone was in her bag, and she had turned it to silent mode, so she didn't see the WeChat message. In other words, even if she saw it, Huomin probably wouldn't reply to irrelevant people because she wasn't in the mood. President Hua, seeing Huomin, and was excited. Huomin's attitude was very cold. He ignored him and walked inside, and rubbed his forehead, thinking that he had seen wrongly. This didn't seem like Huomin. Even if she was in a bad mood, she wouldn't be so disrespectful. Shaoan didn't dare to say anything and stood guard at the door. Suyu quickly took the initiative to pour a glass of water for Huomin. It's very cold. Drink some water first. Suyu took off his jacket and sat on the sofa, not too far from Huomin. Huomin held the glass of water and didn't say anything. Mian, what's wrong? You look unhappy. Suyu asked. Suyu, I want to divorce Qin Shu. It could be seen that she was still angry when she said this. Divorce? Stop fooling around, big sister. Why are you getting a divorce? Your child is already so old. Just make do with it. Suyu was just joking, but Huomin didn't laugh. Suyu, he despises me. Despise you? That's impossible. Even if all the men in the world despise you, he won't despise you, Suyu said with certainty. What's wrong with you? Aren't you his love rival? Why are you speaking up for him? Could it be that even you are starting to despise me? As Huomin said this, tears welled up in her eyes. Suyu's heart ached. No, I didn't mean that. I was just joking with you. What's going on between the two of you? Tell me slowly. Can you, my ancestor? I'm so anxious. Suyu stood up and took a tissue to Huomin. She cooperated and took out a piece of tissue to wipe the tears from the corner of her eyes. After we came back from the accident, Qin Shu's attitude towards me changed. Huomin took the initiative to tell Suyu about her and Qin Shu. Suyu was extremely shocked. Chapter 41-42. Mian, is what you said true? Suyu couldn't believe it. It had only been a few days since they came back. How did the intimate relationship between Qin Shu and Huomin become so? Why would I lie to you about something like this? Do you think I'm the kind of person who would lie to you about something like this? Seeing Huomin bark, Suyu felt conflicted again. How could that be? Why did you two do it? Suyu was actually quite scared after asking the question. It seemed to be the answer he was most afraid of hearing. Huomin looked at Suyu in silence for a while. At first, I didn't understand the reason. I thought he was busy with work or didn't want to disturb me so that I could have a good rest. Later, I thought too much. I was afraid that he suspected that something might have happened between us after we were alone for so long. That's impossible. Qin Shu isn't that kind of person. Second, you were pregnant at the time. No matter how crazy I am, I wouldn't do something to a pregnant woman. Even if that psycho Layla fed me drugs, I didn't. At this point, Suyu stopped. He felt that there was no need to continue, or else it would be awkward for everyone. Yeah, so that's why that possibility is eliminated. There's only the second possibility left. Qin Shu, maybe it's because I didn't protect our child well. So, hearing this, Suyu's mind exploded. This was what he was most afraid of. It was also the reason why he had been avoiding Huomin and not daring to see Huomin. But today, hearing it from Huomin himself, Suyu felt as if there was a pack of explosives in his chest. Perhaps seeing Suyu's strange expression, Huomin stopped halfway and asked him, Suyu, are you okay? Suyu's eyes were red. He looked up at Huomin and said, Mian, if I could go back in time to that day, I really wish that I was the one who took your explosives and died with those bad guys. Then I wouldn't have to suffer like this. To be honest, you and Qin Shu are the ones who suffer the most after the child is gone. But you might not understand how I feel. I feel 100 times worse than you. What I'm saying now, and it might sound fake, but if possible, I'm willing to die for that child and bring him back. So, a grown man was forced to cry because of Huomin. This was unprecedented in the history of the world. Huomin might have realized that what she did was a little cruel. She immediately changed the topic and gently comforted him. Suyu, I'm not blaming you for this, and I don't mean to blame you. Don't say things like that. If I could do it again, I would still choose to save you. I don't regret it. It's okay if Qin Shu doesn't understand me. As long as you understand me, really, I only care about your feelings now. After speaking, Huamin reached out and placed her hand on the back of Suyu's hand. However, what came from her palm was not warmth, but a bone-chilling cold. However, Suyu was still shocked. Huamin took the initiative to touch his hand. Even if it was just to comfort him, he still trembled. And what did Huamin mean by that? What did she mean by, it's okay if Qin Shu doesn't understand me, as long as you understand me? I only care about your feelings now. Why did she say that? Suyu's mind went blank, and he lost the ability to think. After all, this happened too suddenly. Suyu, if I get a divorce, will you despise me? Chapter 41-43. Huamin's second sentence was another bomb that seemed to explode in Suyu's heart. If he understood correctly, Huamin's words meant, if I get a divorce, will you still want me? Was that what he meant? But such an explicit way of speaking. Suyu froze. He wasn't used to it and didn't know how to respond to Suyu. The way he spoke didn't sound like Huamin. With Huamin's personality, he didn't think he would say something like this. But the person in front of him was Huamian. Suyu was confused. At this moment, he was completely confused. Suyu, why aren't you saying anything? Do you dislike me too? No, I won't. I'll never dislike you, Suyu quickly said. I've had enough of Qin Shu's attitude. I understand that he's sad about losing his children, but I'm also sad. I really don't know what to do. When I feel better next week, I plan to have a good talk with him. If he still doesn't repent, I'll have to divorce him. Mian, don't be impulsive. Divorce isn't child's play. I'm serious. What about Pudding and Little Bean? Give them to him. I don't want anything. I don't want a penny. I'll leave with nothing. Mian, what? With my medical skills, do you think I'll starve myself to death? Huamin raised his eyebrows. It's not a matter of starving yourself to death. There's no need for the two of you to be so tense right now. Otherwise, your parents will be angry. I suggest you two talk it out. You've known each other for so many years. This little conflict is nothing. Listen to me. Suyu wasn't someone who would take advantage of a burning house. So no matter how much he liked Huamin, he wouldn't. He would never support something as ridiculous as a divorce. He just tried his best to comfort her and persuade her. Forget it. It's my family business after all. After talking to you, I feel much better. I'm leaving. Where are you going? I don't know. I'll just walk around. Anyway, I don't want to go home. Mian, don't be so stubborn. I'm not. I just don't want to go back. Then I'll accompany you for a walk. I'm really worried about you now. Suyu didn't want Huamin to wander the streets alone in the cold winter. Therefore, after putting on his coat, he went out with Huamin. There was a large luxury store next to Imperial Star Group. Suyu wanted to take Huamin out for a stroll, but he didn't expect that. Huamin was in a good mood and bought a lot of luxury goods. Most of them were women's favorites. There were all kinds of bags, scarves, high heels, perfume, and even some lingerie. When Huamin came out, he didn't even bring his bag. When it was time to pay the bill, Suyu swiped his card without hesitation. He spent a total of more than 600,000 yuan. Huamin only smiled and thanked Suyu. Then, he said that he wanted to go back to Sky Blessing Court to see his mother. The two parted ways at the entrance of the market. Suyu wanted to drive her, but she refused. Huamin took a taxi and left. Watching Huamin leave, Suyu felt that something was wrong. It was weird, but he couldn't tell what it was. Maybe he was overthinking it. Back in his office, Suyu wasn't in the mood to work. After thinking about Huamin's attitude, he felt that he needed to talk to Qin Shu. After all, he was the cause of this explosion. He picked up his phone and called Qin Shu. Qin Shu, it's me. I know. Mian came to my place today, Suyu said calmly. Oh, what did she say? Qin Shu's attitude was cold. She said that you two had a fight. Is that true? I guess so. Qin Shu, I think. Mian doesn't have it easy. It's not easy for everyone. It's not easy for everyone. Qin Shu said out of the blue. How about this? Are you free tonight? Let's meet up. Have a good chat. Suyu felt that there were some things that he had to explain to Qin Shu face to face. He also had to make it clear to him that if he continued to doubt Huamin, Huamin would want to divorce him. Chapter 41-44. Suyu really wanted to persuade Qin Chu to let him and Huamin untie the knot in their hearts. He thought that Qin Chu would agree without hesitation. After all, the two of them had always been on good terms. Unfortunately, Suyu guessed wrong this time. Qin Chu's attitude was very cold. "I'm not free tonight. Let's do it another day." Suyu knew that Qin Chu didn't want to talk to him. Otherwise, he would have rejected everything. Qin Chu's evasive attitude made Suyu feel that the situation between the two of them was very serious. It wasn't as simple as a small argument. He thought about Huamin's divorce and his disappointment in Qin Chu's attitude. Suyu still blamed himself. What he said to Huamin before was also true. Sometimes he really wanted to die in the explosion, to be Hua Xiqian's character, because if he sacrificed himself, everything would be over. It was easy to die, but it was difficult to live. After Qin Chu rejected Suyu was very depressed. For the entire afternoon, he was also absent-minded in the meeting. GK headquarters. After Qin Chu finished the high-level meeting, Bella and Jixin were left alone. "You two come to my office." "Okay, President Qin." Jixin had just returned from a business trip and had only met Huamin once. Because they had negotiated a cooperation project, they were about to report to Qin Chu. After entering the door, the two of them noticed that President Qin's mood was not right today. Bella and Jixin didn't dare to speak and waited for Qin Chu to speak. "Sit down." Qin Chu pointed at the sofa and said. Bella and Jixin both sat down. They looked at each other as if they had a tacit understanding in their eyes. They knew that their brother-in-law was unhappy. "Have you all seen Mian?" "I did. She's not in a good state. Maybe it's because of the baby." Jixin didn't think too much about it and answered whatever Qin Chu asked. Speaking of children, Bella nudged his arm, as if reminding him to be careful with his words and actions. After all, children were Qin Chu's sore spot. "It's okay. Continue." Seeing their hesitation, Qin Chu waved his hand. "Maybe it's because of the child, so sister is unhappy. She's not in a good mood at home. I don't dare to say too much. I'm afraid that the more I say, the more upset sister will be." After Jixin finished speaking, he lowered his head, seemingly a little guilty. His elder sister was so good to him. Whenever he had any problems, his elder sister would be the first to solve them. All these years, his elder sister had contributed both money and effort. But when his sister was in trouble, he couldn't help. That feeling of helplessness was indescribable. "Bella, what about you?" Qin Chu knew that Bella's EQ had always been higher than Jixin's. It was also one of the reasons why Huamin liked her very much. "I think Sister Mian seems to be under a lot of pressure after coming back this time." "She's been keeping something in her heart and hasn't told us. I hope, President Qin, you can spend more time with her when you have time and let her vent her frustrations. If she holds it in for too long, it's easy for her to get depression." "Bella, do you think the current Mian is different from the old Mian?" Qin Chu suddenly asked. Bella thought for a moment and slowly replied, "I really don't see any difference. Maybe it's because of this incident. In terms of temperament, it seems a little different." Bella was right. People could look exactly the same, and even their voices and expressions could be imitated. However, temperament couldn't be imitated. It was something on a spiritual level. If it wasn't the person, it was difficult for others to imitate the essence. Qin Chu's eyes darkened after hearing this. "Brother-in-law, did something happen to sister?" "No, I'm just asking. You guys can leave." "Okay." Jixin walked in front. Before Bella left, she suddenly thought of something and turned around. "All right, President Qin, there's one more thing." Chapter 41-45. Go ahead. Bella didn't speak directly, but looked at Jixin, who was walking in front of her. "Jixin, go back to the office. I need some time to report to President Qin." "Okay." Jixin didn't doubt her words and took the elevator downstairs. Bella walked back to Qin Chu and told him about the strange things that had happened in the past few days. Qin Chu seemed to have a big reaction. "Bella, who else did you tell about this?" "There's no one else." "You, and Sister Mian told me to do it, and I don't trust anyone else. Besides, Mom and Jishin wouldn't suspect Dad. Oh no, Jingda. So, other than you, I only told Sister Mian. You told Mian? When? Shu seemed to be very nervous. The day before yesterday. When Sister Mian was in the company, I came to her office and she was there, so I told her. What did she say? Shu seemed to care more about Hua Min's opinion than Jingda. Sister Mian didn't say anything. She just said she knew. Bella, Shu said solemnly. Yeah. For now on, don't tell Mian about this kind of thing or anything about Jingda. Just report it to me. Huh? Why? Shu's words showed that he didn't trust Hua Min. Bella was closer to Hua Min and couldn't accept Shu's words. Shu seemed to see Bella's doubts. Therefore, he explained, Mian hasn't been in a good mental state recently. I hope she can rest well and not be distracted by other things. If you tell her this, she won't be able to eat or sleep well and will be anxious. Leave this matter to me if you think I'm trustworthy. President Qin, I understand. I trust you. I'll report it to you directly. Okay. Shu nodded. Bella, you have to be careful. Keep an eye on them. Tell Mom and Jishin to be careful too. President Qin, who on earth is Jingda? Have we found any clues? This matter is very complicated. I'll tell you about it when I have the chance. Anyway, you have to be careful. I will. You may leave. All right. After Bella left, Shu didn't have time to think. He immediately called Gao Ran from the Municipal Bureau. Chu, are you calling me at this hour to treat me to lunch? Indeed. You picked the place. Really? Gao Ran was still a little flattered. Although Shu was famous for his wealth, there weren't many opportunities for him to take the initiative to treat others to a meal. Among his friends, perhaps only Rick and Gao Ran were worthy of his attention. How about Sichuan Restaurant Hot Pot? It's been snowing recently, and the weather is too cold, so I want to eat something warm. All right, I'll see you in half an hour. Shu put on a black jacket and walked out. President Qin, are you going out? Yeah. What about the marketing department meeting later? Asked Jishin to do it. Okay, I'll inform Director Jing. Yang immediately did as he was told. Shu went downstairs and drove his black Bentley to Sichuan Restaurant. When Shu arrived, Gao Ran was already there. He was waiting in the private room and had ordered a lot of meat. You said you'd treat me today, right? I won't stand on ceremony. Gao Ran flipped through the menu. Shu pressed down on his menu with one hand and said in a low voice, Old Gao, I think I know. Who's the murderer you guys are trying to catch? Fuck, stop messing around. The sudden news made Gao Ran's scalp tingle. Chapter 41-46. I've never joked with you about this kind of thing, Shu said with a straight face. Gao Ran was too shocked to speak. 3 seconds later, Gao Ran came back to his senses and quickly closed the menu in his hand. Quick, quick, tell me who the murderer is. I'm going crazy because of this mysterious murderer. There are rumors about vampires among the people. I was scolded by my boss at the meeting this morning. If I can't find a murderer, I'm going to lose my job as the director of the Municipal Public Security Bureau. Gao Ran had been thinking about the case day and night. He had read a lot of files and investigated a lot of people, but to no avail. Now, that Shu said he knew who the murderer was. He felt like he was grasping at a life-saving straw. Sit down first. I'll tell you slowly. Excited, Gao Ran sat beside Shu around a copper hot pot, but they weren't in the mood to eat. He was analyzing the whole thing from the beginning to the end. Shu told Gao Ran about Jingda in detail and combined it with what Bella had seen and heard in the neighborhood. Gao Ran was shocked when he finished. Chu, now that you mention it, I've been wondering why the neighborhood where the missing children lived was so familiar. Now it seems I'm right. They're all from Sky Blessing Court, the neighborhood where your mother-in-law lives. If what you said is true, then Jingda, who came back from the dead, is horrifying. He's extremely cruel. Not only did he kill cats and dogs, but he also killed children, yes. I always thought he was not a law-abiding person. That's why I asked Bella to keep an eye on him. But the most troublesome thing is that we don't have any evidence. You police officers need evidence to arrest people, right? Yes, but it doesn't matter. As long as he did it, he must have left some traces. I'll ask someone to check his recent whereabouts, check all the surveillance records in their community, check Jingda's call records, or who he has met, or whether he had any conflicts or quarrels with the parents of the missing children. If I'm right, you won't find anything, Qin Chu said faintly. Why? Jingda is good at anti-surveillance. He was able to appear on the road in broad daylight without being caught on camera. That's why you won't find anything if you check the surveillance cameras. If you put it that way, then we won't have a chance to catch him. We can only watch him get away with it. Gao Ran was so angry that he wanted to slam the table and curse. Those missing children had not been found, and he had already guessed the outcome. After working as a police officer for so many years, if the kidnappers didn't want ransom and were willing to keep them alive, most of the missing children would have been killed. As the child's father, Gao Ran blamed himself in his heart, but he also had a sense of mission. As long as he could catch this pervert, it didn't matter even if he was injured. Therefore, when he heard Qin Chu say that there might not be any evidence to arrest him, his anger seemed to have reached its peak. That's not it. I'm here today to discuss with you how to catch him. Besides, there may be some dangers in the process. Judging from the way he committed the crime, Jingda is not a simple man. We must make a careful plan. Chu, do you think those missing children are still alive if they were caught by him? Gao Ran asked Qin Chu worriedly. Chapter 41-47. Why are you asking me? Don't you already know the answer? After all, they have been buddies for years, and Qin Chu immediately saw through Gao Ran's thoughts. I just want to hold on to the last glimmer of hope. Gao Ran lowered his head, feeling very sad. Face the reality. Just by looking at the cats and dogs he killed, I know there's no hope for those kids. We just need to find the bodies. Qin Chu knew it was cruel, but it was the most likely possibility. Jingda wouldn't kidnap the kids just to put them under house arrest. Although they didn't know his motive, it was obvious that he was a violent psychopath. Bella saw him sneaking around the kitchen in the middle of the night, but she didn't find out what he was doing. But Qin Chu felt that he must have a secret. Since the moment Jingda came back from the dead, Qin Chu and Huamin had been suspicious of him and were wary of him. Now, he finally couldn't hold back and made a move. On the other side, Huamin, who had been hanging out all day, went straight to school in the afternoon. He greeted the teacher in advance and picked up the twins. Then, he took them to a dessert shop to eat. "Mommy, you're so nice today." Little Bean ate the blueberry cheesecake with satisfaction in her eyes. "If you like it, I'll bring you here often." "Mommy, you don't want us to eat too much cake, right? You're afraid we'll have tooth decay?" Little Bean asked weakly. Pudding put a piece of red velvet cake in front of her, but she didn't eat it. Huamian smiled without batting an eyelid. "I've been reflecting on myself. I was too strict with you two in the past. You're both kids. Isn't it normal for you to like cakes, candy, and chocolate? So, I don't want to be so strict anymore. I'll be more lenient with you two in the future." "Wow, Mommy, you're the best." With cream on her lips, Little Bean didn't forget to kiss her mommy's cheek. Huamin immediately raised his hand and wiped it off without leaving a trace. Pudding saw all of this. "Pudding, why aren't you eating? Is it not good?" "No, I'm afraid of getting fat." "You think too much. How old are you? You won't get fat. Come, Mommy will feed you a small bite." Huamin picked up the red velvet cake, scooped a little with a spoon, and put it next to Pudding's lips. "Mommy, are you using BV perfume today? You can smell it?" Huamin was slightly stunned. Today, when she was buying perfume with Su Yu, the salesperson gave it a try. She liked the smell very much, so she bought 3 bottles of the same perfume. Of course, these were all paid for by Su Yu. "Mommy, Big Sis knows a lot about perfumes. Did you forget that she made a perfume for you on Goddess Day?" "Of course I remember. Is it jasmine scented?" Huamin tried his best to search for the information in his brain, and it matched with the information of Little Bean and Pudding. Yeah, it's jasmine. I like the smell of flowers, too," Little Bean exclaimed as she ate the cake happily. Pudding, on the other hand, looked a little preoccupied. Mommy, you didn't like BV perfume before. You said it smelled weird and smelled like Chinese herbs. Maybe it's because I got sick, so my taste changed a lot. I went shopping today, and the salesperson gave it to me. I think it's not bad. Huamin found an excuse to brush off the kids. She thought kids were easy to fool with a few words. Of course, she didn't notice the unfamiliarity in Pudding's eyes. Mommy, have you seen Annie lately? Pudding stared into Huamin's eyes and suddenly asked. Chapter 41-48. No, but didn't Daddy go with Annie to save you? And handsome Sue? Why didn't Annie come back when you guys came back? Oh, well, your Annie left because she had something to do. Can you call Auntie? I miss her very much. Pudding continued to make things difficult for her mother. She didn't know if she did it on purpose or not. Huamin, or Layla, thought it would be easy to deal with these stupid people, but they were troubled by a 3-year-old child. Yeah, Mommy, I miss Annie too. At the mention of Lu Yin, Little Bean stopped eating the cake in her hand and yelled that she wanted to call Auntie. Huamin didn't dare to call Lu Yin because he knew Lu Yin couldn't pick up the phone right now. But Auntie is very busy. She told me not to call her. Be good. When Annie is free, she'll come and see us. Okay. The twins were disappointed that they couldn't talk to Lu Yin. GK headquarters, how is it? Did you find anything? Yes. A young lady is having dessert on Shinha Road with Miss Pudding and Miss Little Bean. Only the 3 of them? Yes. Has she seen anyone else? No. Very good. Continue to keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on him. Yes, President Qin. Qin Shu already knew the whole conspiracy, so when he saw Huamin, or rather Layla, take his children to eat dessert, he felt uneasy. After all, she was a psychopathic demon. She was a constant threat to his daughter's safety. However, he didn't want to alert the enemy, because he knew the real Huamian must still be in their hands, and their children might still be alive. For this glimmer of hope, Qin Shu suppressed the urge to skin this demoness alive and continued to deal with her, trying to beat her at her own game. Yunnan border. Inside the spacious presidential suite, with his white shirt unbuttoned, Xiao Fei leaned against the big European-style bed in a decadent manner. After searching for so long, there were no clues at all. Not being able to find the person alive and not being able to find the corpse was the most terrifying outcome. Because he gave you hope, he let you down again and again. Xiao Fei used almost all his connections in the underworld. He had even used the means of a top hacker to hack into the official satellite positioning system. However, he still couldn't find any trace of Lu Yin, except for the pool of blood she left behind. He hadn't closed his eyes for a long time. Every time he closed his eyes, he would see Lu Yan's face. She had flirted with him on the plane, fooled around in the hotel suite, and spent Valentine's Day with him on the streets of Sea City. Lu Yan's every frown and smile was like a curse that made him restless. Yeah, where are you? Young Master Qiao. There was a knock on the door. Come in. Young Master Qiao. Something happened at the branch. What is it? Someone started the instigation, saying that the boss is dead and is going to defect from the organization. There are also people who want to split the boss's money in the Swiss bank. They even want to attack the headquarters and steal the secret information that the boss has collected over the years. Where's the instigation leader? In the South American branch, in Rio de Janeiro. I suspect they've contacted our archenemy. Seeing that something happened to the boss, they're going to run away. Is there any movement at the headquarters? Not yet. Prepare the plane. I'm going. Young Master Qiao. Only our boss's fingerprints can be found in the secret vault of the headquarters. I'm afraid you'll. Chapter 41-49. I have the authorization. These simple words shocked Lu Yan's loyal subordinates. When did Boss Lu Yan give young Master Qiao the authorization to access the secret vault of the headquarters? My goodness, what kind of trust was this? Hearing this, the subordinates felt their blood boil. Xiao Fei gave up on the search and took a private jet to Liu Yan's headquarters. Liu Yan's headquarters was on an island in the Pacific Ocean. In the past few years, no one but Xiao Fei had come here. Xiao Fei rarely came here. After all, this was Liu Yan's private place. The headquarters seemed to have received the news that Liu Yan was dead. Everyone was in a panic. After all, if Liu Yan died, the mercenary group would be leaderless. With so many enemies, they would be vulnerable. Xiao Fei's timely appearance was like a lifesaver. The night Xiao Fei arrived at the headquarters, a banquet was held, and all of Liu Yan's subordinates attended. Outside the palace by the sea, it was a long dining table with a white tablecloth and expensive red wine. Top steak, foie gras, baked snails with cheese, and other exquisite dishes were placed neatly on the table. Those who didn't know would think it was a state banquet. Liu Yan's subordinates sat on both sides of the table. Xiao Fei didn't wear a Russian military uniform. Instead, he wore the classic uniform of Liu Yan's mercenary group. He was wearing a black windbreaker. In the night, his silver hair was even more dazzling. When Xiao Fei came, he was followed by two of Liu Yan's trusted subordinates. Young Master Qiao. Seeing Xiao Fei come over, the subordinates all stood up to greet him to show their respect. "Sit down, everyone." Xiao Fei waved his hand and asked them to sit down. Then, he slowly picked up the red wine and poured himself a small glass. "This is really a great place. I heard that Yin spent 3.5 years to build this place, from the design to the actual construction." "Yes, young Master Qiao. This is our boss life's work," one of the subordinates said. Xiao Fei nodded and picked up the red wine. "Come, the weather is good today. Let's have a drink." Hearing this, everyone picked up their glasses and said in unison, "To young Master Qiao." After drinking the red wine, Xiao Fei smiled. "Don't be nervous. Let's eat and talk." Then, he raised his knife and fork and began to elegantly eat the steak. No one knew what he was up to, but no one dared to disobey his orders. After all, he was the only man who had Liu Yan's authorization password. After eating a few mouthfuls, the atmosphere became less tense. Xiao Fei looked around and spoke slowly. "I'm sure you've already heard the rumors. Everyone says that something happened to Xiao, Yin, and Yunnan, and she's dead." The expressions of the dozen or so subordinates immediately changed. Someone couldn't help but ask, "Young Master Qiao, what happened to our boss? You're the person closest to her. You must know where she is." "To be honest, I don't know." Xiao Fei's answer surprised everyone. "How could that be? Oh my God, did something really happen to our boss?" "Yes, young Master Qiao, is our boss really dead? How could boss do that? She's so skilled. Who did it? I'm going to take revenge for my boss. Fuck, I'm going to blow those bastards up." The scene instantly became chaotic. Some spoke Chinese, some spoke English, and some even spoke Spanish. "If Xiao Yin is really dead, what are you going to do?" Xiao Fei continued to eat his steak slowly and asked them with his head lowered. Instantly, everyone fell silent. It was a difficult question to answer. Chapter 4150. Then we'll avenge our boss. Yeah, we'll kill the person who killed our boss. What happens after you get your revenge? Xiao Fei asked slowly. Once again, the room fell silent. Seeing that they couldn't answer, Xiao Fei slowly stood up and placed his hands on the table. His cold gaze swept over everyone. "I will wait for her to come back until she comes back. Before she comes back, everyone must listen to my orders. My presence is equivalent to Yan's presence. Your salary and benefits will remain the same. Of course, if you don't want to and feel that the future isn't good enough, you can take the opportunity to leave. I won't make things difficult for you and will give you a pension. But you have to know that you've made a lot of enemies over the years. Once you leave, there will be no one to protect you. Think about the pros and cons. I won't force you. I only have one goal, and that is to protect Yan's life's work." After Xiao Fei finished speaking, the room was in an uproar. "Young Master Qiao, you want to take over our organization? What? Is there anyone who doesn't like it?" Xiao Fei sat back in his chair, his expression calm. No, that's not what I meant. It's just that you're a member of the Qiao family. I heard that your eldest brother, Xiao Imo cut ties with the family, and your second brother, Xiao Nan, mysteriously disappeared in Thailand. There's also a rumor that you'll take over the family after the new year. So, this person's meaning was obvious. In other words, Xiao Fei was the head of the Qiao family. If he took over the family, how could he take over the organization? This was against the rules of the underworld. How could Xiao Fei not understand this obvious meaning? He just chuckled. To me, nothing is more important than yin. I don't care about the position of the head of the family. If I didn't want to wait for yin, I wouldn't be interested in your organization. But I have to protect my woman. I'll say it again, you're free to come and go. But there's one thing, if you choose to leave now, you can't come back whether Lu Yin comes back or not, because I don't like people who don't stand firm. The dozen or so people present looked at each other. They weren't idiots. Since Xiao Fei was authorized by Lu Yin, they didn't dare to underestimate him. So, in the end, the dozen people knelt on one knee and bowed. I'm willing to continue to serve young Master Qiao, just as I serve Queen Lu Yin. Xiao Fei nodded in satisfaction after seeing their attitude. After the dinner party, he returned to Lu Yan's bedroom. Who would have thought that the all-powerful female demon king was actually a little princess in her heart? Lu Yan's bedroom was a pink princess room. It was really dreamy. The room was filled with light pink, and all the dolls were pink Hello KT. There were a few potted plants on the windowsill. They were extremely cute. It was obvious that they had been carefully cared for. The little Daisy looked even more petite and cute under the setting sun. Which girl didn't want to be a princess and live a carefree life? But fate was different. Lu Yin didn't want to be a killer or a mercenary, but sometimes she couldn't choose her own path. Standing in Lu Yan's study, Xiao Fei picked up a photo from the bedside table. His gaze was extremely gentle. Chapter 41-51. It was a photo of Lu Yin on her 6th birthday. In the photo, Lu Yin was wearing a white gauze dress with 2 braids. There was also a red dot between her eyebrows. She was holding a big apple in her hand. Her smile was very sweet. The photo was taken by the professor. The background was a small town in Denmark. At that time, Lu Yin must have lived a carefree life with her father. If she could turn back time, she might prefer the peaceful life in the past. Xiao Fei took out the photo. He closed his eyes and kissed Lu Yan's childhood photo deeply. Yin, I'll wait here for you to come back. I'll wait until you come back. Young Master Qiao, the reactionary government of Syria sent an order. They need 10 people to participate in the war, 3 days, $300 million. I'm not taking it. $300 million isn't a small amount. We can send 10 people, the person said. Xiao Fei suddenly turned around. Your boss has trained you for many years, not to send you to your deaths. We have never participated in the war, and we will in the future. Remember, this is my rule. Yes, young Master Qiao. No one expected the new boss to have such a strong attitude and aura, even though he didn't talk much. The key was that he had been with Lu Yin for too long and knew her personality and tricks too well. Although Lu Yin loved money, she wouldn't accept any order. She accepted the terrorists because she had a grudge against Ian and the others. But she would never participate in the war. After all, one had to know their limits. Xiao Fei believed that if Lu Yin was here, she would deal with it the same way. On the other side of the earth, in the distant underwater palace, to put it bluntly, the dark blue refrigerator was a huge, transparent, 3-dimensional crystal coffin. The outside was made of crystal, and the inside was a mysterious blue potion. It was said that people were put in when they were asleep or unconscious. They would stay in that state, just like faking death. They wouldn't get sick or age, just like Sleeping Beauty. Lu Yin didn't know how long she had been in there. Her subconscious was spinning in her body, as if she was locked somewhere and couldn't move. She seemed to have a dream. She dreamed of a cold place with walls everywhere. There were no doors or windows. She wanted to escape, but she didn't have the strength. She was trapped helplessly in place. Dad, sister, Fei, I miss you so much. I miss you so much. Lu Yin screamed at her heart, but she couldn't make a sound. Sea City, China Sky blessing court young Mei Yurong made a lot of dumplings for dinner. The family of four sat together for dinner. I also packed some and froze them. Jishin, I'll cook them tomorrow morning and put them in a thermos. I heard that your sister will be going to the company soon, so you can give them to her. She loves celery and pork. That's too much trouble, Mom. My sister can eat anything. Even if you have money, you can't taste my cooking. What do you know? Okay, you're right. Okay, I'll bring it to her tomorrow morning. Jishin looked down at the news on his phone. Bella, you and Jishin shouldn't be so busy. Although work is important, you're not young anymore. You need to think about your children. I can help you take care of them while I'm still young. I know, Mom. Bella was already used to her mother-in-law's urging, so her expression was very calm. Mom, have you found the missing children in our neighborhood? Bella didn't know if the question was intentional or not. She glanced at Jingda's face and saw that he looked a little unnatural. Chapter 4152. I don't think so. Speaking of which, it's strange. How the kids disappear all of a sudden. The police have been here several times, asking about this and that. I don't know if they were targeted by kidnappers. Rich people's neighborhoods aren't safe. Young Mei Rong didn't seem to notice anything and was just chatting. Bella didn't say anything, but she saw that Jingda's expression was indeed different from usual. Dad, after you came back, you rarely went out. How about I sign up your mom for a tour? You could go on a trip with her. Jishin was very filial. Ever since Jingda came back, he had been calling him Dad. She called him very affectionately and would often buy new clothes and shoes for this father of hers. However, Bella felt that Jingda's attitude toward Jishin wasn't very affectionate. Compared to her mother-in-law's caring attitude toward her children, Jingda was still lacking. No, I don't want to go anywhere. Jishin, your dad hasn't gotten used to our family's financial situation. He just doesn't want to spend money. We appreciate your filial piety, but we won't go on a trip. I've been thinking about taking you back to our hometown when your sister gets better. Why would he go back there? To see that heartless uncle and that shameless cousin? At the mention of his relatives in his hometown, Jishin's face was full of disdain. He remembered the long time ago he allowed them to come to his house for the sake of their relatives. But what they did was inhumane. Jishin held grudges and wasn't as forgiving as Huamin. So, when he heard that his mother was going back to their hometown, Jishin was angry. No, your uncle is so heartless. I won't talk to them. I'm going back to visit your grandparents' graves. It's almost New Year, right? That's fine. I'll tell Sis when I see her tomorrow. After dinner, Jishin and Bella went upstairs. Jingda and Yang Meirong were downstairs watching TV as usual. Midnight, Bella tossed and turned, unable to sleep. During the day, she told Qin Shu about what happened. She recalled that her brother-in-law seemed to have a big reaction. Could it be that this Jingda was hiding some secrets? Those missing kids, did he take them away with his own hands? The more she thought about it, the more she couldn't sleep. She got up to drink a glass of water. But when she got up and picked up the glass, she saw a shadow. Then he saw a figure flash by downstairs. Under the moonlight, Bella could see the man's figure clearly. She was sure that it was Jingda. She wanted to ask Jishin to come along, but Jishin trusted his father too much. Bella was afraid that Jishin would lose control and be agitated if he saw something he shouldn't. Therefore, after thinking about it, she secretly put on her clothes and quietly went downstairs to follow him. She didn't forget to send a message to Qin Chu, President Qin. That person is making a move. I plan to follow him and take a look. If everything goes well, I think I'll be able to discover his secret soon. To be on the safe side, we can't call the police for now to avoid alerting the enemy. You just need to know my whereabouts. Don't. It's dangerous. Qin Shu quickly replied, but there was no reply for a long time. He then called Bella, but no one picked up. Qin Shu suddenly had a bad feeling. After he left the company, he drove straight to Blessed Heavenly Garden. Bella had put her phone on silent when she was sleeping and forgot to turn it back on, so she didn't notice it was in her pocket. Instead, she was attracted by the sneaky Jingda not far from her. Bella quietly followed Jing all the way to a piece of undeveloped land behind blessed heavenly garden. Jingda walked quickly as if he was in a hurry to go somewhere. Following him, Bella felt that she was getting closer and closer to the truth. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.